with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezing, it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezing, it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Right, and there we go. Good evening, people. Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's had a good day. Hope everyone's had a better day than me. Again, running back like endless chicken out there. How you two doing?
It's all right. Just a normal day.
Yeah. It's where it's that close to Christmas, mate. Christmas shopping and all the other crap that comes with it. I can't wait till December gets out of the year. I've got my wife's birthday in about a week's time. Then we got Christmas. Then I've got my daughter's birthday 2 days later. I'm going to be a very poor man. It takes me about a month to get over it, basically. And then when my birthday's in the middle of January, everyone's too knackered or got no money from Christmas and everything else to do anything on my birthday. It's never bloody changed. Stel, how we do?
Yeah, I'm okay. Midweek. Weekend's almost, well, it's not almost here, but we're halfway there. Spurs playing tomorrow night. Woo!
Can't wait.
Yeah, God knows. God knows what we're going to watch, right? God knows.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
What's that? A mid-Spurs crisis sort of thing, yeah?
I've got no idea what we're going to watch. Could be amazing, could be absolutely horseshit.
Mate, I really don't think any of us do, but get to that in a sec. Just going to say hello to a couple of people inside. Eugene, hi everyone. Levy Out, nothing new there, mate. I think we all want that fella out of the club. Big up to you, mate. Mark Cook saying smash up, like and subscribe. Cheers, mate. Big up to you. Tony, big up Dan, Stel, Mike, and the chat. Is he gone yet? Sadly, no. Ange out, Levy out, happy clappers out. Aggressive, mate. Nothing new there. Big up to you, mate. And Mapping, mate, would prefer to watch Champions League at this time. If Spurs ain't on it, what's the point? It just makes you jealous. And then Rich, big up Dan. I prefer to watch HotspurHood at this time. Cheers, mate. Appreciated. Mark Taylor, evening, gentlemen. And Mark again. Dan and Stel equals class. Oh, sexy. Thank you. And what about Mike? I mean, he definitely adds class to it as well. George. whether it is his own class or not, we've all got our own class and style. I mean, George, big up to you, mate. And Ryan, big up Dan, panel and chat. Chris, Arsenal supporter there, ex-fellow I used to go to college with. Evening, Dan and chat. And Craig Nichols saying, did you see Romero's comments? Yes, I did. Going to go through them. He's going to leave for sure. Yeah, I can see that. We all knew something was up. To be honest, I want to see the back of him. He can't defend and reckless. Fair enough. And Eugene, Ange's not football manager. He's our entertainment manager, of course. And then the Sheriff, how you doing, mate? Opal's good. Saying hello to all of us. And JP71, good evening. Good evening to you too, mate. And Mark, again, big up all. Smash the likes. Jonas, big up and big up to you. Mark, evening. Dan Geezer, evening to you too. Jonas, big up Dan Stel. And last couple I go for quickly before we go down to it is Mark. Apathy has set in. Fair enough. Jordan, big up to you too, mate. Hotspurs, big up Dan Stel and Mike. And also Jason, why is the club defending Ange? Doesn't make sense. Does he ever make sense? And yes, VDV out again. What is that? Daniela? Oh, close to it. I'll just call you Daniel.
Van de Ven's out.
Yeah, apparently for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep. Hadn't you already seen that?
But it's not like confirmed, I think, by the manager, right? But I think
yes, it is.
Paulo keeps. Oh, yes, it is already okay.
Yeah, the manager, he's just give his thing, and then Matt, big up Dan Still and Mikey, big up to you too, mate. And yeah, Ange is a complete donut. Daniel, yes, he is an AB. Boys.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, with what Ange has just gone and said, Van der Ven is out for 2 to 3 weeks, which probably means he could be out 4 to 6 weeks because they're still trying to work out if the injury is in the same place.
So Dan, I need to get something off my chest, man. I need to get off my chest. My blood's boiling already. Anyone who defends Ange Postecoglou, right? Anyone who defends Ange Postecoglou, I'm sorry. I do not believe for 1 second you believe what you're talking about. You cannot defend this manager if Van der Ven is out. Romero, okay, I'll give you some leeway. It's a different injury to the one he had. But if Van der Ven's out, I'm sorry, man. This is nonsense. I said before that game, there's a video on YouTube, 2 videos, and I said this is a massive risk, and I think Ange is desperate, and he's risking players' well-being. But for me, Romero went off injured because he wasn't fully fit and he's aggravated another part of his body because he wasn't fully functional to play this game. Van der Ven, he wasn't ready, man. He's rushed them back. This is on the manager. I'm sorry. I'm not going to hear anyone defend this. Levy Out, get him out. We'll get into it. That Van der Ven thing's really pissed me off, man. Because that...
Surprised you didn't already know of it.
No, I thought he came off with cramp because when I was at the game, they were stretching his leg and bending his foot back. I thought he's got cramp. He was only going to play 60 minutes maybe. But if he's injured now, then this manager is negligible. That's on him. You know, he's creating this mess now. He has created that mess. So I need to get off my chest because I'm fuming with that, man.
It's true. Neither of them should have started, as far as I'm concerned. Or if you had to start one of them, neither of them should have really been started, but I can get that he would have started one of them if he really had to, and then he picks the fittest one out of the 2 of them, and then maybe swaps them over after.
Why spend 30 million on Dragusin? What do we spend 30 million on him for? So he
should have started, didn't it?
For players that aren't.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm in the same boat as Stelios, right? With Romero, I can give him some leeway because it's a different injuries, right? So if the medical department told him that the foot injury is okay, then it's okay, right? But with Van der Ven, fucking, I don't know. Like, you know, you have an injury-prone, G-string, hamstring, defender, and you put him on 90 minutes or whatever it was, 70 minutes, and he goes off injured after being out for a month. Whoop-de-fucking-do, what a surprise, right? It's...
I hope Ange gets sacked just off the back of that decision. If we lose to Rangers and Southampton and Liverpool because of defensive fragilities, then that is all on the manager now. I don't want to hear about injuries and not being backed. I hope he gets sacked just for that. Honestly,
I mean,
that's how I feel, man.
You see this injury, yeah? You see this injury. We talk about Spursy. This injury has got Ange written all over it, isn't it? I mean, he's done that a couple of times now, I think, brought players back when maybe they should have had another game or two to go, and he brings them back early. I mean, it seems like that Chelsea curse as well. We always seem to lose the players with Chelsea as well, don't we? They drop off like flies.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Do you know?
It's people in the winter, isn't it?
Mate, they're our bogey team. What we are to City, Chelsea are to us. You know, when you're not 100% fit, what happens is other parts of the body then compensate for the weakness somewhere else. For example, if you don't have a strong core, you end up using your back when you should be using your core, and then the back begins to have problems. Most people with back problems because they've got a weak core or they've got weak hamstrings. And what happens is if you're not 100% and you're playing freaking Chelsea, man, as what you're playing them who are fit, you know, they're bang on it. If you're not fit, another part of the body is then activated to compensate. The body naturally tries to rebalance, but that's not the right way to go about it. And this is what's happened for me. This is why I said before the game, this is a big risk. And I called this, man. Dan, do you know what, Michael? You two talk for 5 minutes, man, because I'm gonna do something nuts.
Yeah.
In
through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah.
Woosa.
It calms you down. I mean, you're right with the injury thing, yeah. I mean, one thing I can speak of with a bit of experience there, I mean, my back's been absolutely screwed for a very long time. I had to wear a back support for about 6 to 9 months, call it 7-8 months sort of thing, consistently, because my back is not in a good way. That's why I have to see the osteopath at least once a week. That gets bloody expensive as well. And then when things started feeling all right, I made the mistake of taking my back support off and not wearing it for about a week. Yeah, done my back in again in the process. Basically, where I'd been wearing the back support for so long, my back had started relying on that more. And then when I'd see the osteopath about it again and that, she grilled me for it and that and said, no, you have to take it off for a couple of hours a day and then go on like that, basically. Not just take it off totally and get on with your life as it is, because you'll damage yourself again, which I did. So it took me a good few months before I could actually take the back support off properly without hurting myself again. So I get what that means on the injury side of it. When you can't just steam back into things. It's like whether it's weights, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever. Once you've done yourself, you've got to fix up as much as you can before you play again. I mean, once your back's done, it's done. You're never going to fix it 100%. It's sort of like other injuries. Like when you do one of your tendons or whatever else and that, once that's done, it's done. You'll only ever fix it 90%. And then you do it again, you'll only fix it 90% of that. And then you end up getting weaker as it goes along. But this thing seems to keep happening with Van der Ven now. Mike, go on.
Yeah, listen, I can make Stelios happier and tell him that we will play with Dragusin and Gray as centre-back partnership against Liverpool in 1.5 weeks.
He's already said that Gray is probably going to play centre-back. He's pretty much admitted it.
I can 100% tell you Gray will never play as a number 6 for this club with Ange.
Yeah.
I thought you were giving us 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Right. That's
right. I lied. I
don't mind.
Yeah, but still, you've got to think of your health first. You've got to think of your health first. You've got to regenerate first. So go on, Mike, with what you were saying.
No. Listen, like, how many times can we repeat the same thing, right? Before the season started, I said on plenty of different channels, right? How the fuck are you supposed to play 4 competitions with 4 center backs if you count Davies, right? That's just not suitable. That's not healthy squad building, right? I will always keep saying this: healthy squad building, right, is where you have 11 positions on the pitch and you should have at least 22 players, right, that can fit those positions. And for some positions, you need more coverage, right? Center back is one of them for me. Like, I think that you can register 25 players, right? All 25 of those players should cover those positions, right? Instead, we have like 8 forwards and 4 center backs. What sense does it make? we shouldn't have this many forwards. We should have more defenders, right? How the fuck do we have one left back? How the fuck do we have 4 center backs at the club? It's just stupid squad building. Like it's not even about investing or not, right? It's not even about like how much money we spent on Gray or whoever, right? Why the fuck did we buy Odobert and not an 18-year-old center back, right? If we really wanted to buy young and prosperous, right? We didn't need another winger, considering we bought Young, right? And we have Werner, Son, Kulusevski, Johnson at the club, right? As much as I don't want Werner, or just don't loan Werner and buy Odobert if you really wanted to do it that way, right? But why do we have so many forwards at the club where we left ourselves short-handed in the back, right? And this is, it's like all the words we've said in the summer are just being proven right now, right? You said the squad is too short in certain positions. We've said that the like we lack experience in the squad, that we don't have leaders. It's all coming back to bite us, right? And listen, if I can do it, if Stel can do it, if you can do it, done, right? Then why the fuck don't professionals at our club have the ability to foresee this, right? It's just stupid for me, right? Like Stel is a coach, right? At least he has some. At least his like profession is connected to football, right? I am a data analyst. Dan, what is your profession, right? I don't know, right? But you don't work in football. How the fuck do you know that, right? If you know that, why don't they?
Mate, most of it comes down to common sense. I mean, I got my level 2 in coaching,
sense.
like God knows how many years ago. I mean, I've still got it on paperwork, for God's sake. That's how long ago it was. I mean, it makes me feel physically sick saying it, but I got it at Upton Park. Like, but that was the place where it was at the time. And no, with that, the only other stuff I've done is like door work and that. So, but it comes down to common sense, some of it, doesn't it?
Dan, before the Chelsea game, like, people say, no, but what do you want him to do? I said, what I want him to do is to start the one guaranteed centre-back we've got at the club that we know is fit, Dragusin. He drops him. What for? Why would you not start Dragusin? It's insane. And then what I would have done is said, do you know what? I'm not going to play Romero and Van der Ven. It's risky. Put Pape Sarr as the centre-back. Put him in there. He's got the height. He can tackle. He plays as a number 6. Let him just drop in for one game. Do it. And then you can put Basuma in the 6. You can put Madison and Kulu in that midfield, or put Archie Gray in the 6. I mean, everyone keeps telling me he's a 6. He's a 6 by him. Give him a chance then. What he's done, he's put them both in there. They're both now injured. They miss Rangers, Southampton, Liverpool, Wolves.
United in the cup. United
in the cup, right? United in the cup. So what this means as well, Michael, now, this squad is literally got nothing left other than kids on the bench. So we are going to get more injuries now. We're going to lose a Kulu or a Johnson. We're
playing more consistent games.
This is what's going to happen now. It's going to get worse. This isn't going to get better. And, he didn't put Reggie or Spence on during the Chelsea game. They're both on the pitch. Udogie and Porro, they didn't have the best of games. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to put Reggie or Spence in the Europa Cup squad. So now you're forced to play players that you might want to have rested. You're telling me Reguilon and Spence aren't good enough to play against Rangers. They're not good enough to play against Ferencváros and Karabag. What on earth is this manager doing, man? Like, what planet is he on? I'm all for Levy out. I'm all for Enoch out. Get him out. I hate them. I hate Daniel Levy. I resent everything they've done. I will never, ever defend them, right? But there are some things you've got to point the finger at the manager and say, are you doing the best with what you've got? And when you look at the Europa Cup situation now, no, he hasn't. Yeah. And when you look at, forget tactics, boys. Forget substitutions. Forget
it's just how we play at this point.
It's basic team selection. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And Michael's right. You could be a dustman, a plumber. You can be a pilot. Nothing to do with football. Surely you can see that.
Most people do see it. Go on, mate.
Yeah, it's just basics, right? And as Stelios has said, the worst thing about it is that an injury crisis is like a snowball, right? It just keeps rolling and it keeps getting bigger, right? The less players you have available, the more the fit players will play, which means they will get injured, right? Fucking touch wood that Porro or Udogi don't get injured, right? I fucking pray to God, even though I'm an atheist, right? I pray to God that they don't get injured, right? Because we are fucked if they... No, on a serious note, right? If Udogi gets injured, who the fuck plays left back? We don't have... it's not even like we can put Spence against Rangers, right? Because he's not registered. It's ridiculous.
Or Regulon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Regulon is or isn't. Probably isn't, right?
I don't think he is.
It's like, imagine if Porro or Udogi get injured, right? And we have to play in the Premier League? We have to play Spence and Archie Gray left back, probably. But then who the fuck plays centre back? Because Gray is the centre back now, right? So who plays left back then? It's ridiculous. As I said, it's like you have 25 men you can register to the squad, right? And in Europa League we registered 23 or 24.
5
goalkeepers,
right? 5 goalkeepers, Michael.
4
goalkeepers.
5 or 4, whatever, right? It's not even about the goalkeepers. It's like we literally in like past seasons I used to whine about how big the squad is, right? Because we had plenty of like Ndombeles and fucking Sissokos and Auriers and all that stuff. We had like 30 senior players at the club, right? And right now we are just too short. Like, it's yet again, this club does always fucks up with something, right? It's like we whine that we have too big of a squad and they need to trim it down, so they fuck off 11 players in the summer and bring in 4 kids. It's like there is just no logic about it, right? We whine that we don't bring through young talent, so they go out and buy every single fucking talent in Europe that there is to buy, and don't buy senior players, right? We whine about defensive style of football, so they bring an ultra attacking, no fucking regard for the defensive side of Football Manager, right? It's always the extremes. It's never like, the fan base whines about defensive, so let's bring a more progressive coach, but not a madman who just, attacks with 10 players, right? I bet you if he could make Vicario attack, somehow he would. But unfortunately, it's not possible. So it's like...
the players we brought in and that, and the way we've done it, yes, we got rid of some deadwood, but we didn't exactly go about it in how should I put it? I'll just say the word sensible. We didn't exactly go about it in a sensible manner, did we? And then one of the things with Ange, which I have noticed and been pulled up on as well, is one of these facts. At Celtic, he had a turnover of 98 players in 2 seasons. I didn't know that until I read all this. And Yokohama, he had over 100 in 2 seasons. Melbourne, 48, went nowhere, and goes on and on and on, basically. And as it says underneath it, he needs to bring in entire new squads. He's not good at coaching a squad that he gets as such. He's not going to get that at Spurs.
I think
98 players. How? Yeah.
No, Michael. This will include under 21s and under 18s.
Oh yeah,
yes, everything.
Yeah.
It's the whole lot, not just the first team.
Maybe
I read that out wrong. No, that's my bad. I read it out wrong.
No worries. I was just like, how the fuck do you turn over 98 players in 2 years? It's like,
but altogether, he gets
he needs
with a lot of players in, and that's one thing doing that in those leagues as well. But in the Premier League, you're not going to get that, and especially at Spurs, you're not going to get that.
Let me read something out to you guys, right? Ange Postecoglou's played 53 matches, right? 26 wins. This is something different. This is in fact, we can do this first if you want. This is the Europa Cup squad. So look, he's got 5 goalkeepers: Vicario, Forster, Austin, Whiteman, and Gunter. So 5 goalies. Defenders: Dragusin, Udogi, Romero, Porro, Davies, Mickey van der Ven. Then he's got 4 kids. So he's put Dorrington, Casanova, King, and Hardy. 3 of them we've never heard of. He's put them ahead of Spence and Reguilon. Midfielders: Son, Basuma, Madison, Gray, Bergvall, Kulu, Johnson, Odebert, Saar, Bentancur. He's put 3 kids. Fair enough. I don't think we can complain about the midfield. And then up front, he's put everything he's got. So Richarlison, Werner, Solanke, and then he's put Lancashire, Ajay and Barnet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 50% of the Europa Cup squad are academy kids that have all gone ahead of Spurs and Regulion, who are actual older, more established football players.
Just one thing, because I've actually once read like the registration rules, and under 21s you don't have to like register them to the 25-man squad.
No,
so you can have
play
like,
at any time.
Yeah, that's the point, right? So, for example, Luka Gunter in the goalkeeper section, he's not like registered into the 25-man squad. He's just
okay,
like
Michael, let's take them out.
20.
Right,
yeah, but it's still your point stands. Your point
4,
stands,
5, 6,
right?
7,
How
8,
the hell some of those players are, so like Tyrese Hall, Lancashire, Moore.
Okay, so he's got 19. So he's registered
19
players of an older age. 19.
Yeah.
So he's still got space to put in Reggie and Spence. He chose not to do that. That's his. Levy never said this is the squad you must pick for Europa. It's a good point you made, by the way, Michael. You're right. I forgot about that rule with the kids. You're right.
Yeah. But then for the amount of English players needed or whatever else, he might have actually had to register a minute.
Spence is classed as English.
That was what I was going to say next, is I don't understand why he just did not put Spence in that team. And it's starting to show now that we could have done with Ebony.
I can explain. It's so stupid, right? But in Europa League, you have to have, you don't have to have, right? But it is required. No, how do I put it, right? Out of 25-man squad, 8 of those players have to be homegrown, right? But 4 of them need to be club trained. So they have to be from like our academy or like connected to our academy, right? So for us, it's Austin Whiteman and that's it, right? We don't have like club trained players in that 25-man squad, right? And 4 of them have to be homegrown, which is for us, it's like Madison, Spence, who else? Who else is homegrown?
Spence
Johnson. Yeah, but so basically, I'm just giving example of like homegrown players that aren't club trained, right?
Okay, then he doesn't need to put
into those. Yeah, into those 4 spots, he didn't put Spence in. Riddle me why, right? Because it's like really convoluted. So some of the homegrown players, like there is 17 spots for foreign players. There is 4 spots for homegrown players and 4 spots for association trained, it's called, I think, or something like that, right? And if you don't feel like those, so you can have 17 foreigners, 4 homegrown, and 2 association trained, which is the case in our like squad.
Can you have 1 less foreigner and another British player? Then you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, and then out of those like 17 foreigners, you can have homegrown players in there, right? And as far as I know, he registered like, Odo Birds and all that stuff, and he filled the 17 players, the 17 players with other players than Spence and Region. It's like really stupid, but basically both of them are out for some reason, and I don't know. I think we could have registered less forwards and more defenders, but hey ho, like we have 8 forwards in the Europa League squad or something stupid like that.
He hasn't exactly picked the best way. I mean, JK27, what you're saying here, Ange Ball had Real Madrid on the ropes for 60 minutes in the first game. Yeah, he did. And I think they lost that about 4-0 or saying in the end, wasn't it? 4-1, 5-1, whatever it was. I can't remember the exact score, but I thought it was more than that.
No, they lost.
But in the first 60 minutes, I remember watching it. I just can't remember the bloody scoring it. But yeah, but again, what does it matter if you're all over them for how long and that? If you end up getting banged up 3-0, 4-0 at the end of it, makes it irrelevant, doesn't it?
Dan, I wanted to say this. Ange has played 53 Premier League matches. He's got 26 wins, 19 losses, 8 draws, 86 points from 159 points. So his average points per match is 1.62. Conte, right? Same Premier League matches, got 32 wins, 15 losses, 9 draws, 105 points. So he's up by almost 20 points. He's got a 1.88 point match average. So Spurs under Ange, my point is Conte has outdone him with their worst team. Spurs have won 26 points from their first 30 under Ange. Since then, so the last 13 months, 60 points from 129. So we've given up almost half of our points. Ange's points won over the last 13 months is mediocrity defined. And he's performing worse than Conte, who had a worse team. Conte had a worse team. And this fan base barraged Conte, and the media and the press gunned Conte down. So Conte got absolutely torn a new one for doing a better job with less, and Ange, who's got more, is doing a worse job. And here we are. This shouldn't be a discussion. He should be gone. Ange should be gone. And Levy should be gone as well. Of course, Levy should be gone. But I don't understand how anyone defends it. One clean sheet at home in 22 games. One clean sheet at home in 22 games. One win in 7, Michael. Every statistic you look at this guy, it's shocking, man. It's so poor.
We have over 53 games. We have 10 clean sheets in 53 games.
It's fucking awful, man.
It's just awful. I think there was like this stat on Sky Sports that we have one clean sheet in like last 19 home games or something stupid like that, right? I was listening to your show yesterday, not your show, but you were on Spurs Kings TV and you were like talking with Eugene and Andrew, I think he was his name or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You were arguing about like the Ipswich game and whether our attack is proficient or not, right? And I don't know if Marlon put up my comment, but I said that because you were saying that we scored only one goal, or they were saying that we only scored one goal against Ipswich, right? For me, and I don't know, maybe I'm deluded, right? But for me, scoring one goal at home with Ipswich should be enough to beat them, because Ipswich should never fucking score at our stadium unless it's like supreme luck or a set piece or whatever, right? That's how I look at games. If you want to be a serious team, you win and you keep clean sheets at home and preferably away, right? But the home has to be your fortress. And at this point, we played like 7 games in the league at home and we lost 3. That's just stupid. That's just, you cannot be a serious team if you lose so much on your own.
Do you know why I say these things, right? Do you know why I say these things, right? When I look at Spurs attack, I can see a pattern to it. I can see the idea of it, and I can see why we've scored so many goals this season. Albeit they're lopsided, like 4-0s, 5-1s, and all that. But I can see going forward a plan that has been coached. There's no coincidence. There's a lot of goals where we get down the wing, cross it to the back post, goal, right? That's not coincidence. That is coached. My argument is when we go forward, I can see it's been coached. And I can see forward players have improved. Johnson has improved his goal return. Kulusevski has improved as an attacking mid. You can say there's elements that are improving. Now, when I look at us defensively, I'm sorry. I've coached when outnumbered, when it's equal, so 3-on-3, when you've got the overload as a defense, so there's 3 attackers against 4 of you. I've coached when to send them wide, when to engage, when to emergency defend, when to slow down their play. I've coached it. When you do your badges, you must learn this stuff. When I look at Spurs, when a team attacks us and they've got a bit of space to play with, we look disorganized, we look out of shape, we look dysfunctional, we look like we don't communicate, we make bad decisions. And I think to myself, how can this all be happening? And the more and more I watch us, I'm convinced we do not coach defending nowhere near enough as is what is required to be a successful Premier League team. We are not coaching the defending side of the game. Pressing is a form of defense. We've coached that bit. But I think it's also part of the attack because the closer you win the ball to their goal, the less distance you have to travel to score. So pressing is almost the first line of defense, but it's also a form of attack. But when I look at us defensively, and I'm talking about the defensive mid and the defenders, it's an absolute shambles. It is not being coached. I think we spend 80% of our time coaching, building up the play and attack, and 20% on defending. And I'm looking at it as a coach, trying to understand what I see. And you cannot tell me we are coaching defending. And the reason I know it is because Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero, and Porro, all of them have regressed as individual defenders. All of them have regressed. How?
But,
I think you're being nice when you
developed.
say
They're not being developed.
when you say we give 20% of our time to defence. I think you're being nice. I honestly don't even think he looks at the fucking.
I'm just throwing out a low number, right? It could be.
I know,
right,
but
yes.
honestly, I don't even
Who
think
knows?
he pays attention to the defence, except telling. Look, this whole system for me. I mean, the way we play at the moment, that should be able to work at Rangers, yeah. But I'm going to go to that in a minute, like with the team. I should say we haven't got for Rangers. But one way or another, if he would, for me, personal opinion, if he would just fix that defensive issue of instead of having them inverted all the time and forward all the time, actually have them overlapping but not up there every 24/7 of the game sort of thing, and would just sort out that defense issues. I think that's 25% of his issues on the side, and another maybe 9-10 points that we might have now. Maybe I'm being a bit generous saying that, but there's been a few stages where it has blatantly come down to our defending and not shutting up shop when we needed to, that we have ended up getting smashed on the game and lost points over it.
Dan, I don't think you even overestimated it, right? I've made a point once, right? That when you look at the results that we had, right? I don't listen. Losing to Arsenal at home, like fucking hurts, but fair enough. They are a great team, right? Losing to Chelsea, like fair enough. Although we were 2-0 up, so you make a point. If we shut up shop, I think when you go 2-0 up in 15 minutes, you have to get something from the game. It's ridiculous to lose a lead like that, right? But for me, 2-0 up at halftime against Brighton, right, should be a win if we actually defend it for at least like. Oh, okay.
It's all right. I was just mentioning to the fella there.
Yeah, it's 2-0 against Brighton should be at least a draw for me, right? That's 1 point more. Ipswich at home, I don't fucking care what anyone says to me. Should always be a win, right? Palace away, in the form they were in, at least a draw, in my opinion. And I don't think I'm making like any outrageous statements, right? And for me, Fulham at home, I would expect a win. And for me, the way we played against Newcastle, I think you could expect a draw or a win, right? You said 9 points. I think easy. I think if we defended in any of those games, if we had a proper defensive structure, I think we can win or draw those games, right? And you know what 9 points get us? 9 points gets us third, I think, right now, or fourth.
Top four.
Yeah, top four, yeah. Right? It's as easy as that. It's stupid how defensively open we are. And by the way, Stel, because I brought the show and that you did yesterday, I completely agreed with you, right? But it's like, for me, I subscribe to what you said about like our attacking patterns. I think when you watch us play and you see how many goals we score, even though it's in like patches, whatever, I think we are capable of scoring goals with shit attackers, mind you, right? But the defensive work, the defense is absolutely shambolic, right? And also, it's like not only like the defensive like structure that they don't coach like 1v1 defending, right? But I also think, listen, if you are a fullback and you are at the edge of opposition penalty box and suddenly you have to sprint back 60 meters to get back to your defensive positions, right? You are knackered. You have no time to analyze the situation. You are just out of your breath and you make like split second, instinctive decisions. And instead, if you were at your position ready to defend, you can see who is coming, right? You can see players, you can catch players overlapping you or whatever, right? I just think those players, when they just rush back to our penalty box, they only rely on like split-second decisions. I see this guy, I tackle this guy, right? There is no like thought about it because they don't have time to think about things, right? It's ridiculous to me. As you said, it's like, we are not asking Ange to play Conte ball for 90 minutes, right? And just put 11 men behind the ball and that's it, right? But we are just asking for at least a bit of like logic in that defending, right? A bit of like, you have a lead, just defend a bit, right? When we are 2-0 up against Chelsea, we don't need Porro on the edge of the penalty box, right? On the edge of opposition penalty box. We don't need him there. We are 2-0 up. We can let him drop back a bit, right? Or Udogi, or Bissouma, right? Bissouma doesn't need to be in the penalty box. It's just, as I said, it's just basics, right? You don't have to be a football coach to see that, right?
Look, for me, goals obviously win games, yeah. But the way I see it, and I've always seen it, a good goalkeeper and a good defence wins you a league. I mean, a good goalkeeper can easily get you anything from 6 to 15 points in a season, depending how poor or good your team is. But a good goalkeeper, let's round it off at 10 points. And then you have a solid defence as well. I had to build my own team. What would I do? I would definitely concentrate on the goalkeeper on the back before I concentrate on the front. Yes, the goal's got to go in. But we haven't even got it good up front. But we can score goals. He's got that bit right, basically. Yes, we only score one type of goal. Yes, 9.5 times out of 10, they're just average goals, bar the odd one here and there. But I don't care. I mean, Johnson, do I rate him as a player? No, I think he's a pretty goddamn awful player. But he gets in the right place and taps it in the net. Job done, fair enough. Put that one aside. I've still heard some people argue he's better than Palmer. But we all know how should I put it? There's one ball in every minute, I think is the way to say it. Here and there. And with that, we get that bit right. If we would just sort out that defensive issue, I think we would be about, let's say, between 7 and 9 points better off. And then we'd be significantly up on the table. That game against Roma, we should not have drawn that. I mean, in one way, we was lucky we didn't lose it. But again, we should have shut up shop. Against Chelsea, I'm not saying we should have shut up shop with Chelsea. There was still like 70 minutes of a game to go. But we didn't have to keep going gung-ho football and kamikaze at it. Level it out. Our team is bloody knackered by the time it gets to 30 minutes. You need bloody robots on there. And Stel, you asked me to bring this bit up, what Suman said.
Yeah.
What did Conte and Mourinho win by playing defensive style? He
then had another comment where he said, at Spurs, what did they do? But can you bring up the other comment? There's another one, a different time. I think it was just before.
Let me just have a look.
Yeah, this is the 807 one's 805. See, what I find interesting is Ange Postecoglou, after the press conference, says the squad's thin, the boys gave everything, we're struggling at the moment. If you know that, why are you sending them out to go gung-ho? If you know that, Ange, you know that they're running on empty, you know the squad is struggling right now, why are you sending them out to play the most exhausting football possible, man? You need to adapt because you know that they can't. So he then says after the game, feel sorry for me. They're tired. We got injured. But you knew that. Adapt to what you know. But he doesn't. And this is why I can't stand him anymore. This comment here is just amazing. Conte and Mourinho have won at every club except where Spurs. It's not Ange. But do you guys think the manager problem? 100% it's the manager. Because Mourinho got us to a cup final. Whether you like him or not, he got us there. He never sacked himself. He never sacked himself. And as for Conte, he had a weaker squad. And in his first season, what a run he took us on to get Champions League football. And even when he left, he left us in the top 4. With 10 games to go, we were in the Champions League places. So I expect Ange to do at least that. So when I see us in 11th, playing awful football, getting absolutely schooled, like Michael said, by fucking Ipswich, Crystal Palace, right? Lucky to beat Coventry. So lucky to beat Coventry. Come on, man. You can't compare Mourinho and Conte to Ange. Don't ever compare two managers who have been the best in top divisions across Europe to what we're seeing from Ange right now. And the stats back it up. His stats are awful. Like I said, going forward, I actually think we're a decent team. I think we're very capable.
Mm-hmm.
But
sort that defense out, sort that inverted wing back problem out, and that's 25% of his issues out of the way, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, because then the space in the wide areas isn't as open. You know, sort out the defense and sort out your in-game management, and we might get, you know, we might challenge for top 4. But like this, who's entertained except for the rivals? Like all my friends.
Straight question is still. Do you think that? I mean, one thing I said to a lot of people last season, that a couple of fallouts with people over it and that, and obviously you get told you're negative or whatever else. I was trying to be realistic. Last season, if I'm going to be actually honest with the way I personally saw it, I think we well and truly punched above our weight last season. I think we overachieved because other teams were just not on form last season in any manner.
And we capitulated the last 10 games. We capitulated.
I know, but I still think we punched above our weight on where we finished. And that was purely down to the first 10 games of the season, basically, the 26, 27 points that it got us. Or whatever it was, 27.
Yeah, Chelsea and Man United had a shocking season.
Yeah,
so we can't.
Where others had a very, very poor season, and this season has been very up and down for a lot of people. But those first 10 games covered his arse last season, and I think we actually punched above our weight at the end on where we finished. And then this season, it's made people, for obvious reasons, expect that to happen again. Because you expect to see at least the same or improvement. And the only way you can really say in the league that he's improved is if we finish in 4th place. Whereas if he finishes in 5th, you can say, okay, we haven't gone backwards. But I actually think we punched above our weight, and it was because of those first 10 games. And after that, it's just pretty much been like a roller coaster ever since. Even to this season, it's just followed on and on and on all the way. So if we wouldn't have done that for them first 10 games, and let's say we would have finished 7th or 8th, I think, yeah, quite a few of us would have been, okay, not a great season. But I don't think we'd have gone into this season with expectation as such. Do you think we've actually got higher expectation than we should have?
Based on what?
Based on last season, based on anything. Do you think we have actually got higher expectation for this club, players, manager than we should actually have? Do you think it's basically fake expectation we've got because of, I believe last season, because of those first 10 games, we punched above our weight?
I'll give you a quick answer and then I'll let Michael go. For me, I had zero expectation because back in June on We Are Tottenham TV, I said, Ange out, Levy out, he signed Werner, expects dog shit transfer window, and at some point it's all going to unravel because we do not have the squad to compete in all these competitions. This is going to be a mess. So my expectation is what you're seeing right now. And I predicted it. It's on the internet. The video's there. I called this. So for me, personally, Dan, no. I had no expectation. However, for most fans, and most fans did say things like Solanke fits the system, the youngsters are generational, trust the process, and is, you know, all these wonderful sound bites, and everyone jumped on the bandwagon. For them, they massively had expectations that were unrealistic. So that's kind of how I look at it. Back to you, Michael, to quote Mr. Box Office.
You know the way I look at it, right, is I don't and I will never feel bad for expecting this club to fight for top 4. And the reason why is because it's the owner's aim, right? I'm not happy with it, but I think we should always be competing for top 4, right? So my expectations before the season, like expectations in terms of, not expectations, sorry, my prediction before the season was we finish like 5th or 6th. That's how I looked at it, right? But I think it's nothing but to expect us to compete for top 4. And by the way, purely based on squad quality, I think we have the capability to finish like 5th. I think Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, and City have better squads than us. But then when you look at it, right, I don't necessarily think like Aston Villa, United, and Newcastle are like that much better, if at all, than us. And squads like Brighton, Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, they are really good teams, but I think we have better squads than them, right? So purely based on that, I think we should demand to be like top 5, the way I look at it, right? But but guys, unfortunately, like because of those tactics, those injuries, that exploitation of players, we lost 7 matches this season already, right? And if you really want to think about it, right, we lost 7 matches already, right? Guys, we traveled to Stamford Bridge, we traveled to Emirates, we traveled to Anfield, and we play Liverpool at home. We traveled to Villa, right? Those are like 5 matches that in this form, losses like without a shadow of a doubt, right?
Guaranteed.
Moreover,
it's guaranteed, Michael. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Moreover, we play City at home, which last season they beat us, right? And it's only like I've only mentioned like the good clubs, right? We have to go to Brentford. I don't know if you guys knew, but Brentford won 7 out of 8 matches at home this season, right? We travel to Craven Cottage. We travel to like other teams, right? It's honestly ridiculous when you start looking at it. I think based on this form, this manager, this team, everything that we know so far this season, I can see like 16 losses this season. And I'm not even kidding. Like, just look at it logically, right? And do you fancy us playing against like Chelsea at Stamford Bridge? We will get fucking pumped. We will get pumped.
We lose them when we're good. We lose when we're good.
Mate, the way we're playing at the
once
moment,
in like last 20 years, right?
we
won
Chelsea
and Chelsea.
Chelsea and Anfield.
We go to Chelsea and Anfield the way we are at the moment.
Emirates, because we don't win.
No,
Emirates
no.
right?
But that one
Sometimes
doesn't
we
bother
get
me
a
so
draw.
much.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, sometimes we turn up there. When it comes to Anfield and Stamford Bridge, no, the way that is at the moment, I don't really know. Let's just say there'd be no lubricant and you'd be limping by the time you get off the pitch. You would absolutely get shafted. The way we're doing it at the moment, I can't see it any other way. It'd be painful. Let's just say that, and tell you a new one.
It's stupid.
So I do actually think a lot of people are thinking that we should be in 4th place. We deserve to be in 4th place as such. And I can get that. But on the other side, I look at this team and I look at other teams, and then I hear a lot of people saying, oh, but it's the injuries. Oh, but it's this. Oh, but it's that. An excuse after fucking excuse after an excuse. That's why I put the title on there of stop wishing it was easier. Just wish you were better. Get better. And again with it, you can look at it both sides, I think, because I do think we punched above our weight last season purely because of those first 10 games. And it is really starting to show this season, because I said at the very start of this season, he ain't going to have them 10 games to cover his ass. And it really does show on that now. And the way this season goes, before it even started, I said we finished 7th or 8th. The way we're going at the moment, I wouldn't even be surprised if we finished 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
Because we are looking poor. The squad is now looking extremely thin. He's looking lost for ideas more than he was anyway, because now he hasn't even got players that play in them positions. And so with Rangers coming up now, that wasn't meant to be an important game. Whereas I think this is now a bit of an important game, because this is part of this is a bit of his get-out clause now. I know it's mainly on the league, but we got to get somewhere in that Europa League, surely. And if we go and lose against Rangers, I know we've got some other easy games coming up, but then we're definitely making it super hard for ourselves in that league, aren't we? In that Europa, if we lose against Rangers, that is going to make that. It's going to make it harder than it needs to be.
When's the next game after Rangers in Europe?
January.
January,
like 14th or
mid-January,
like
I think.
Yeah.
As far as I know, mid-January.
We play Elfsborg at home. I think it's a Norwegian side or Swedish, and then we play Hoffenheim away last day of the last round of the.
I think whatever happens, we're going to qualify for the knockout. So
Yeah.
we're gonna qualify for at least the playoffs. So it comes down to, do we want to qualify by automatic top 8, or do we want to go into a playoff? We don't really want to play off because it's 2 legs. It's another 2 games.
Additional matches, right? Yeah.
So really, you want to go through the top 8. But is it the end of the world if we lose to Rangers? No. But what it does, it's more negativity, it's more toxicity, it's more media bashing, it's more YouTube culture wars.
And,
you know.
And by the way, like respectfully to Rangers, right? We should be going to Rangers and winning, like, you know.
Well, these tactics work with Celtic now.
Yeah, but you know, I always look at like this Celtic thing, right? And honestly, like whoever treats like the Celtic thing seriously, right? It's like Celtic are the Man City of or Paris Saint-Germain of Scotland, right? I seriously don't rate winning the league with Celtic.
Didn't Steven Gerrard win the league there?
But with Rangers.
Yes.
But with Rangers.
Yeah, but in Scotland,
yeah.
In Scotland, Steven Gerrard won the league. He came to England. How did that work? The Premier League.
And then he almost relegated Aston Villa.
So
it's I don't rate
Michael,
the league with Celtic.
Michael, do you know what?
Yeah.
I've got nothing against Ange coming from Scotland and Japan and all that. That doesn't bother me because Arsene Wenger came from Grand Passat in Japan. Sir Alex Ferguson came from Aberdeen in Scotland. There's been many a good manager that's come. Arteta came from no work ever as a manager. Many a manager have come from much lower levels, but Arteta won an FA Cup in his first 6 months. Arsene Wenger in his second season, I think, won the league. Alex Ferguson in his second season finished second in the league. You saw progression. You saw an evolution where you said there's something maybe about this manager where you've put some credit in the bank. Let's stick with it. What credit has Ange put in the bank?
Yeah, but by the way, I made that comment with not rating the Scottish like Premiership.
Yeah, it's a crap league.
Because but I made the point because there are so many like people that want to use that like treble or whatever he won in Scotland as like a, you know, as a proof that he is a winner and he can win something here, right? Scottish Premiership doesn't relate at all to the Premier League. Like, listen, and quoting Alex Ferguson is a fucking miracle, right? And by the way, Alex Ferguson broke like a stalemate of Rangers and Celtic with Aberdeen, and didn't he take them to like a Europa League final or something like that, right? If my mind serves me correctly.
He beat Bayern Munich and Real Madrid in the semi-final and the final to win Aberdeen the UEFA Cup, which was phenomenal.
Right. Exactly right. So I don't think what Ange did is comparable to they finished fourth in
but Arsene Wenger won the Japanese league, which was the same as
but
he came to Japan. It was
the point is it's not a rule that if you win at a minor league you can suddenly transfer that to Premier League, right? I think Premier League is
which is why I'm saying those managers that came from lesser league. They showed progression in this league. And with Ange, I'm asking the question, what progression have we seen?
None. We have seen regression, just like that.
I mean, you say evolution.
This is the difference between. So when you hear fans say, "Oh, but look at what Klopp did. Look at what Arteta did. No. You look at what they did. Klopp got to 2 finals in his first season. There was progression at these clubs under these managers where you said there's something possible here. Where's the regression with that? Where's the progression with Ange? And as Michael said, it's regression. So I hate when fans compare Ange to Klopp, Arteta, to Wenger, Ferguson when they started. Don't do that, man. Pochettino in his first season, we finished strong at the end of the first season. Second season, were we in a title race or in top 4?
I think it was third season, right? We were
right.
in the title race.
When they compared to Klopp,
we saw progression. This is so it's not right when I hear, especially some of the YouTubers who are like Ange-sexuals, who are so desperate to compare Ange to some of the best managers this league's seen. Look at what those managers did in their first 2 years as a progression.
Let's just go through.
Look at Ange. Look at Ange. There's no progression.
They keep saying with Klopp, about 26 games won or whatever it is. I mean, and in the first season wasn't too great at Liverpool, they're saying, and Ange done better with Spurs in his first season as such. Okay, let's take it on to the second season.
Dan, he spent more than any other manager in his
first season. But let's take this over to the second season.
No Premier League manager got 300 million in his first season. Not one. Not a single one. Even Pep.
But let's take this over to the second season, because the main one they keep putting in with is Klopp, which is criminal anyway. I mean, Pep, you just really can't compare. One of the best managers there's ever been. Not the best, in my opinion. I think I still rate Jose better, but I think that's just more out of I've always liked Mourinho as a manager, so that's just a personal thing.
You like his
if you want to go into the second.
Dan likes his personality.
the fella's a top CUNT, and I absolutely love it. I think he's brilliant. And what he's also done with other teams. I just like the way he's got a fuck you attitude. He'll say what he wants when he wants, and he really don't care if you like him or not. Fair play. Yeah. But in the second season with Klopp, how many games did he lose for Liverpool in that second season?
I don't actually know.
6, if I remember correctly. Yeah. How many has Ange lost already?
7.
Game over, really, isn't it?
We've lost 7 games in 15, man. We've lost 7 games in 15.
So they compare him to Klopp. Klopp only lost 6 games in his second season. Right. So one thing I want to get, this Rangers game coming up, tomorrow. We've got Davis, Vicario, Mikey Moore's meant to still be out, with Richarlison. Not that I really care, but it's still a number. Odegaard, VDV now out for 3 weeks. Romero out for 6 weeks. Bentancur can play, so I suppose that is a bit of a bonus. Where do we go with this?
Yeah,
where do we go with this? Because this,
Dan, he must start pursuing Bentancur. He must, because they're both suspended for Southampton. He has to play them. He must.
That makes sense.
Southampton is going to be jokes. It's going to be jokes.
You think in a way, does he even have to avoid this game? Because he's still got to look at them Premier League games, because if he goes to Southampton and gets stuck. But anyway, with Rangers, what do we do? Mike, what do we do with Rangers? I mean, we're not going to change formation. It's going to stay the same way. You could literally bet your house on it, basically. And then the time you go and do it, it changes to a 3-5-2 or whatever, just because life's a bit like
we don't even have defenders to play 3-5-2. So
you know what I mean? But I don't know, maybe we stick the 3 of the 4 goalkeepers there. Yeah. But my point is, what the hell do we do with Rangers tomorrow with that team he can pick? We basically got our right backs and left backs are shot to shit. And we've still got Premier League games coming up and a cup game with Man U coming up. Our defence is absolutely destroyed. I'm not bothered about the goalkeeper, because fair play, hands up, 4-star. I think he's been our best player since he's been playing. In midfield, we're quite limited to an extent because people are tired. Up front, people are knack. What does he go and do for this team? Where do we start? Who is he going to pick for tomorrow?
Okay, so
let's start at the back. Let's start at the back, because this is the hard one.
Forster in goal, of course, right? Listen, unless he pulls like an 18-year-old from under 21s, right? It will be Poro, Dragusin, Gray, and Udogi. Because like who else? Region and Spence aren't registered. We don't have other centre backs, so he has to pull someone from the under 21s, or this is the back 4. Right, we don't have any other options unless because Bentancur is available for that game, unless he puts Bentancur as a centre back and plays Gray as left back or right back. That's the only or Bissouma, but I don't know Bissouma as a centre back. This guy has a bozo moment like every 20 minutes.
No way, Michael.
Right. No, but I'm just looking at options, right? So,
and there's not many of them. Just trying to make some.
I think it will be Poro, Dragusin, Gray, Udogi. I think we'll play Bissouma, Bentancur in front of them, and possibly Maddison, right? Because Maddison got rested against Chelsea. Fuck knows why, but he got rested against Chelsea. So I think it's Maddison in the 10. And I think then I don't know if Johnson is fit or not. Is he? Did Ange say anything?
Apparently, he was feeling sick, and that's why he went off against Chelsea. So he should be okay.
I bet he was when it went to 2-2 and then went 3-2. I bet he was feeling physically sick.
Probably like right. Johnson. I would say Lancashire in the middle, because I think Solanke also needs a bit of rest. And on the left, Werner. I think Werner will play right against Rangers. So as I said, like Forster, Poro, Dragusin, Gray, Udogi, Bentancur, Bissouma, Maddison, Johnson, Lancashire, Werner. That's the squad I think will field. Unless he puts, like as I said, unless he puts Bentancur or Bissouma as a center back and puts Gray, as a left back or right back. But that's the only,
I mean, it's mainly that defensive situation, isn't it, that we're all really thinking about. I mean, for me, it's what he's going to do for the whole back line. The only one out the back line for me that walks into that for this game and, well, upcoming games is Dragusin. Because I'm still sitting there, if I'm the manager, just the way I'm looking at it now, and I'm thinking my left back's, he's done. He's knackered. Porro, he's knackered. It shows. And then I go and stick Archie Gray in the middle. I mean, maybe against Rangers, he shouldn't be going in the middle anyway. He shouldn't be left back. He shouldn't be right back. But we all know he's a very fantastic player who's going to evolve and become something very special. But apart from that, so we might as well play him centre back. That's really the only option we've got, unless he brings out some 18-year-old and puts him as a centre back who actually plays as a centre back, isn't it? I mean, can you think of any other way of sorting out that back line?
Dorrington, I think, played the other day, so he might play, and then Gray goes wing back. I personally think he won't start Udogi and Porro. I think they're running to the ground, and he's got Southampton coming up, and he needs them to play. So I think what's going to happen is Porro or Udogi will play, and then either Gray will go on the other side, or Gray will go in the middle, and then we're going to have a surprise youngster play. He'll put in a surprise youngster as wing back or centre back. Probably more wing back, because the centre back rolls hard, and he'll put Gray at centre back with Dragusin. So, for example, Porro, Gray, Dragusin, and then a random youngster in the squad. Forster in goal. In midfield, I think he's going to go Bissouma, Bentancur, Bergvall. I think he will play Bergvall because he needs to give these youngsters minutes, and he's got to start rotating. Man, he's got to give. Maddison could come on during the game. I don't think Maddison starts. And then the front three will be Werner. In fact, the front three will be Werner, Lancashire, Maddison. Actually, he'll play Maddison and play in the front three. So I think that's what he'll do, because he's got to use as many youngsters as he can now, because he's got to think about that Southampton game. Because the reason I think he must think about the Southampton game is and I'll ask you this question. We were having this debate the other night, and I said, if Ange loses the next 2 Premier League games, or if he doesn't win one, I think he's gone. I think he will get the sack. I don't care what the board is saying, what the media is saying. And everyone on the panel that I was with, they said no. They said as long as he's in the cups, he beats Man United, his job's safe. And I said, I disagree, because and then they said to me, no, but fans want the trophies. I said, yeah, but what we as fans want and what the board do are 2 different things. I as long as we're in the cups, I can see a reason why he stays. I don't agree with it, but I see a reason why. But if Man United, who we battered, and West Ham, who we battered, in a week's time go above us and stay above us, and suddenly they build a 3-point gap, I'm sorry. I think that whole board says change the manager. That's my thinking. But the panel disagreed with me. They all disagreed. No one agreed with me on this. So I think he must focus on Southampton if he wants to save his career, which means play as many youngsters as you can against Rangers. Because like I said, if you lose to Rangers, we're not out of the competition. Lose to Southampton, and then you've got Liverpool next. Mate, you're gone. What do you think about that? Because no one agreed with me, boys. Nobody agreed with me on that.
I'm very 50-50 with you on that one, yeah? Because surely even someone as sports inept as Daniel Levy seems to be can see that Champions League, it ain't happening this year unless we do that Europa Cup. I mean, they say like top 5 we could still get it, but then that's hoping that Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City and whoever do good in the cups, isn't it? Do good in Europe. That's relying on them.
Yeah.
But if we at least win that League Cup, that gets us into the conference, doesn't it? So that's still not really good enough. So that means to get in, So that means to get into that Europa Cup, we have to finish, what is it, 6th or win that FA Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a tricky one. If that League Cup would get you into the Europa, then I could understand with them hanging on to him to see if we get through on the League Cup, because that can take us to the Europa.
Dan, if we lose to Rangers, if we lose to Rangers and then we lose to Man United, sorry, beg your pardon, if we beat Glasgow Rangers and we beat Man United in the Carabao Cup, but we lose to Southampton and we lose to Liverpool and we end up 15th in the league table halfway during the season, do you think he keeps his job? Because that's really the question.
I honestly, if he goes down that far,
I think he's gone.
I just cannot see how we would keep him unless we had a final the following week. But then I go and say that we got rid of Mourinho when we had a final the following week. So,
and we were like 6th at that point, not fucking 15th, right?
I can't
if I remember correctly.
I can't see him hanging on to his job just because he's in the cup still. Because if we go and lose to Rangers, that's now also making that Europa Cup. We still get through it, but it's making it significantly harder. And yeah, if we go and lose to Southampton, then what is it? Liverpool. I mean, what is our next ones in the league? Southampton away, Liverpool home, Forest away, then Wolves.
Forest away with an injured squad. You know how that's going to go down.
Yeah.
Wolves at home, and then Newcastle at home.
Wolves might have a new manager bounce because they're probably going to sack their manager out.
They are fighting for their life. It's like they are 19th, so it's not like, a wounded animal and all that stuff. And you just
they're a bogey team.
And you just know the fucking Dr. Tottenham will turn up for that, right? So yeah, like I honestly like Carabao Cup, even though it's nice and all, right? For our board, Carabao Cup gets you Conference League, not Europa League, right? If I remember correctly. So the board won't give a fuck about the Carabao Cup. They want Europa League at least, I think, right? So you just have to balance it out, right? Balance it out in terms of like looking from board's perspective. I think if we end up in Europa League, I don't think he gets the sack. But there has to be like a realistic way of us getting to Europa League. And I think the issue is at this point, if we lose to Southampton and Liverpool, we are definitely losing. I am 100% sure.
No, but with games we have played.
Wait, because like Europa League is 5th and 6th, or like 6th. If 5th is Champions League, then 6th is Europa, right? So if we lose 2 games and Aston Villa are currently 6th, 5 points ahead of us, right? Let's just say Aston Villa win and draw, right? They will be 9 points ahead of us in 6th. Right, assuming nobody like jumps over them, right? Of course, there can be like Fulham or Brentford or whoever else, right, in that spot. But I think 6th place in 2 weeks' time will be on like 29 points, something like that, in my opinion, right? If we lose both games, we are on 20, sitting in like 13th, and who cares if we are through to like semi-final of Carabao Cup? By the way, Carabao Cup, where Liverpool and Arsenal are still in the competition. Right, as a friendly reminder. So it's not like we have fucking Crystal Palace and Brentford in the final,
Michael?
Right?
I don't want Crystal Palace, not after what they've done to us.
Arsenal, Crystal Palace,
Newcastle,
Liverpool, Southampton, Newcastle, Brentford, right?
Yeah, Newcastle, Brentford aren't a joke.
Yeah. It's honestly it's no
fact,
joke, guys.
Us currently like this against Man United is no joke either. I know Man United are up and down, but on a given day, Man United can turn it on.
They also have like 20 fit senior players, right? So they can just run us into the ground.
And I think they personally have a very capable manager, but how he will do in the Premiership, time will tell. Because again, Portuguese leagues, it's not quite the Premiership, but it's still light years ahead of the Scottish League as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
I think the Man United game is going to be like Roma, Dan. Just end to end, whoever scores the most wins, just a Wild West shootout. I think it's going to be very much like the Roma game.
You try and play you score 3, we score 4 sort of thing.
Yeah.
Basketball sort of thing.
Yeah. I think that's what we're going to see.
And for me, that's not an entertaining game to watch my team play. Because by the end of it, I'm sort of like half hiding behind the bloody sofa or in bed wherever I'm watching it and that. Cause sometimes now, at least, I just lay in bed and watch the bloody game because I get too frustrated in the front room. So I end up wanting to throw something at it or not even bloody watching it. It's just not looking good at the moment, is it?
I think he gets sacked after Liverpool, man. I think he'll get sacked after Liverpool unless he pulls an absolute rabbit out of the hat in the next 3 games before that to buy himself more time. But I think if we go into that Liverpool game and it's gone really toxic, 1 win in 9, and we go and play Liverpool. I remember I was at the old White Hart Lane where Brendan Rodgers brought his Liverpool team with Suarez and they played AVB's Tottenham
5-0,
and we got battered 5-0. And I said to my brother who's sitting next to me, AVB's going to get sacked. He goes, do you reckon? I went, he's gone. And the next morning he got sacked. I think it'll be a repeat of that. If the next 2-3 games we don't win.
Yeah, I've said it right. I think he has to not like 2 wins and 1 draw. He has to win all 3 games before Liverpool to keep his job. That's non-negotiable.
Michael, if he wins 1 and draws 2 and stops the losses, I think he buys himself a bit of time. But I do see what you're saying. I do get it because these games are they should
honestly.
Be easy,
I think he's just already bought himself time.
Does it draw with?
I think he's already bought himself. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
That's
a draw with Southampton.
It's like a loss, right? Drawing against Rangers puts us in the playoff thing, right? But I don't think he will get sacked based on that, right? But if he dares to lose against Southampton, right? I think after Liverpool he's gone, right? And the only I personally think he should be sacked after Soton if he loses to them, right? But I think they won't sack him before Liverpool just to bring new manager into Liverpool, right? Or
he should have been sacked after that 4-1 loss to Chelsea last year, man.
I like what artists have said.
At that point, debatable.
I like what artists here said here, yeah? I think this club is cowardly. You don't have to think, mate. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Why didn't they come out and state their stance on Ange? I don't want to hear it from the ITKs and the journalists.
They never do, mate.
So that's something that Alex has been picking on for a very, very long time, Mr. Box Office, that he could actually have more faith in the system as such, the process, project, whatever you want to fucking call it. If Levy would actually just come out or someone higher up in the ranks would come out and say, right, all right, we see the shit, but it's a process and we are sticking with this manager come hell or high water. Would that give you any more faith in Ange, in the system, in Tottenham, let's say? I still don't rate him as a manager if Levy comes out and says that. But would it actually give you some actual faith in an idea that there is a plan there somewhere?
What it tells me is the board are committed to a project. It says to me the board are committed to going through pain, going through being called out by the fans, going through the protests that are planned, going through the battering they're going to get through the media, block it all out and say, no, we've put something in place and we're going to see it out to the end, even if it takes us 5 years, 3-4 years, we are seeing this out. That's what it says to me. But I know this board too well, man. I know how Enoch and Levy work, and I've been so consistent with this. They will pull the trigger as soon as it goes toxic and the Levy out ramps up. The problem they've got at the moment, the board, Dan, is for the first time ever, they're in a situation where if they back Ange and he doesn't turn it around, they are seriously fucked because fans are going to turn. Fans have had enough. If they don't back Ange and they get rid of him, fans are going to turn because it's another manager. It's another project that you told us that hasn't materialized because you bottled it. They're damned if they do. They're damned if they don't. The only way the board gets out of this is if Ange saves their backsides and puts together a 5-6 game streak of not losing. That's the only way they get out of it. And they survive to January where players begin to come back from injury. Maybe they go and buy a couple of players in the transfer window. The only person that can save Levy and ENIC right now is Ange. And they're stuck because they don't have control anymore. It's in Ange's hands, their fate. Because like I said, if it keeps getting worse, the board are done. If it keeps getting worse and they come out and say, no, there's a project, we're going to back it, we're sticking with it, well, then they're not prepared to do that because that means then they can be held accountable because finally, for once, they've actually said, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to achieve with it. Okay, now we can hold you accountable to something that you are putting out there. So for me, I think Levy and ENIC are in such a difficult position.
It's an awkward one, isn't it? Because I've seen like on X and quite a few other things with a few people on there I've been talking with. There's a lot of people Ange in, but there's also a hell of a lot of people Ange out. I think it is pretty weighed up. Would I say 50-50? Not quite. I'd still say it's 55% in Ange's favour, but that's definitely slipped down the ranks since 2 weeks ago. And it's only going to take another game or two to totally change that. But then if they do get rid of him as well, that's going to turn a hell of a lot of, I wouldn't quite say Levy lovers, but ones who are more on his side, on the fence, whatever way you want to put it. I think it will also turn them against Levy as such. I think it's right what you're saying. They are in a bit of a predicament now, aren't they? They really are. Because
listen, the moderates,
one way or another,
the ones that sit on the fence, the ones who get their splinters up their backside, they've switched against Levy and ENIC now. Look, Sean Butler is absolutely rattled beyond belief. You see him on shows; he's panicky, he's erratic. He's got to have a drink to calm himself down. He's losing it. Why? Because he's seen the tide has heavily swung against him. You see him on live shows, his eyes are on the comments because the comments are battering him. And it's a tough one for him to swallow because he's defended this tragic ownership for decades. And now, even those that he could lean on that would be supportive, like, nah, man, we're done. The board right now are in a very, very difficult situation because, like I said, if they sack Ange, fans are going to flip because another project, another plan, another process wasn't delivered. And that is on the board. Mm-hmm. If they keep him and the results continue to dwindle, that stadium gets toxic. The protests get bigger. The noise gets louder from the media. Levy doesn't need that in his life. He doesn't want that. So the only way out of it is Ange to pull a rabbit out of the hat. And that's it. So they've put themselves in this situation. And those.
So what is the safer one for them to do then? What is the safer one for them to do then? Because like you're saying, I mean, I'll come to the comment in a sec, yeah? But what you're saying is very true. They're very fucked if they do and fucked if they don't. And I must admit, 100%. I actually quite like the situation they're in.
Mate, I've been waiting decades for this because I've been saying this for decades and I've called this for decades. The only way the board have a minute chance, if it's not down to Ange, is to come out and for Levy, not some Donna Cullen PR bullshit corporate nonsense speech, not to put Lange in front of the camera in his suit and tie, reading off a script. I must say this because the club said, no, it's for Daniel Levy, the chairman, to sit in front of the camera like this and say, I'm going to address you fans. This is the plan. That's the only way he gets a chance to get out of it. But he knows he can't do that, because if he does that, we can then hold him to account for the words he said to us directly. And he's not going to do that. So for me, Dan, only Ange can get him out of this.
It's very, very true, isn't it? So, Aussie Matt,
good.
Hope you're having a good night.
I hope he's sweating when he goes to bed. I hope Levy wakes up shivering that what he's done to this club and what he's put us fans through and the prices he charges for it and what he's done to the elderly concession fans. Good. I'm glad he's in this position.
Mate,
I have no
about the only
remorse
time, Stel, about the only time this bloke gets out of bed shivering and sweating is probably when he's been on his yacht too long with Lewis. And we can just imagine what Lewis has done to him. So the point I'm going to go to here...
And he don't like bad publicity, man.
That's why in the pictures they always like take his face off, you know, like foam it up a bit so you can't see it when he's on the boat with him.
He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
No human being likes it, Dan. No, listen. You can be the toughest guy in the world. Nobody likes constant a barrage of discontent and hate towards them. Everyone has a breaking point. We're all human beings. Even the toughest, hardest person in the world, once in a while, they cry. If it gets that bad, they cry. Levy is in that position because he put himself there. He's the one that directed us to this place. These are his choices. Do you remember the documentary? Sacking Poch was the hardest thing I had to do. Only time will tell if it was the right decision. Your words. Wrong decision, bro. Wrong decision.
Yeah.
You live with it.
Yeah. Right. A bit I want to get to is what's just been said here. Hang on a sec, Mike. I'll come to you and Alex.
I want to comment on it.
Forget Aussie, man. He's a troll. He does it all the time. Forget him.
No. But I'm still going to answer. You know,
this guy's banter. This guy's banter. It's like a Christmas cracker joke.
Let it be. But I will still answer for myself. No one else. Due to ego, some might say I've got an ego. Some might just say I'm rude. Some might say I've got sarcasm. Whatever way you want to put it, take me as you want. Mine might like me or lump me. I don't really care less how rude that sounds. It's just the way I've always been. It's done me favours and it's also worked against me. But shit happens. The truth is, Ange would need 2 more transfer windows to actually show his imprint on the team. I can go with that to an extent, yeah? But you have opposed him since the minute he entered. Now, that bit is not true.
It's a lie.
I actually was one of the first ones who did say, I said it after I think it was 5 games, like, okay, I'm seeing this style, but this ain't going to work 90 minutes every match and 38 minutes. That's not me losing faith in him. That's me questioning what he can do. And then after about 9 months, I started questioning him because I started seeing us going downhill and not progressing. I started seeing things going up and down. So I wasn't against him from day one. And the fellow has also done nothing for me to actually gain any sort of faith in him. And the players that he has bought, I would say in majority are worse than the ones that have turned out good. Purely my opinion. And should he have another 300 million put in his back pocket to get some more Werners on loan and to get some more Johnsons and Greys and Bergvals and that? I don't know. If he could go and pick players like Van der Ven all the time or get half-decent players like Vicario and that, maybe. But, I don't know, maybe he'd want to spend it on another Odegaard or something. I don't think I want to give him 300 million for that. Go on, Mike. You said you wanted to say something on this.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, listen, guys like him usually just drop into a live show, drop a shitty comment and just fuck off, right? I doubt he's listening to that, right? So
no, I just wanted to answer it.
Yeah, so there is probably no point in like spending more time on it, right? But one thing I wanted to say is, and Stelios actually went off, so I will be defending him, right? You can go into, I think it was on We Are Tottenham TV or on his own channel, right? After those 10 games, he said, we need to back this guy. We need to properly back this guy in the summer transfer window. You did it, Stel, right? It was either on Ben and Sim's channel or your own, right?
Ben and Sim.
So just saying bullshit like you were against him since day one. None of us were. Maybe Scott M, right? Not to call out Scott, but maybe Scott M was against him, right? But other than that, we are all surprised by first 10 games. And listen, mate. Just now, I started I turned over just now, right? But to just claim that any of us here were against him since minute one, that's just not true, right? So stop spreading lies and just fucking.
I actually said Ange deserves a whole season because he lost Harry Kane 7 days before the season started. He got no replacement. He's our best player that saved us so many times. Give him at least one season without Kane. However, as we got close to the end of the season, I said, if he signs Werner, I'm done. I gave him that season and he signed Werner. And now look where we are. So, yeah, look, Aussie Matt he's just a lunatic, absolute madman that's just, he doesn't support Spurs. He supports Ange. He doesn't love Tottenham. He loves Ange. I don't want fans like that at this club. Just like I didn't want people that supported Jose at Tottenham. We need people that really care about the club, not people that just care about individuals. You know, the same people that kept Eric Dyer at this club for 10 years. You know, Ben Davies. You know, keep Ben Davies at the club for 10 years, 12 years, because he's a good servant. You know, whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah, just one thing here. Keep it civil. Keep it civil. Come on. That's a bit harsh. I think vodka's more the word. I mean, Super T's, he's not that bad. Come on, be real. I think he's got more taste than that. I'd say he's more vodka.
Thankfully, I don't know what that is.
Only a glass. No, Super T's, that's a bit below the belt, mate. That's a bit below the belt. I mean, fucking hell, it just makes me feel ill thinking of it. So keep it civil. Anyway, Alex, how you doing, mate?
Big up, Dan. Big up everybody in the show on the panel. And big up Stel. Big up Eugene. Big up Michael. Listen. For me, and by the way, I watched you on Dan Analyst. I said it in the chat yesterday, Dan. And it's not I'm trying to give you a bit of an ego. I thought you made a really
Don't
good
worry,
point.
mate. I've already got one. So
yeah, I know. I thought you made a really good point about he needs more time or whatever about the transfer windows. He said his time at Yokohama, Celtic, he turned around a lot of players, didn't he, or something like that. I thought that was a really good point. I don't know what the question was, but I thought it was a really good point that you made. I don't know what the question was, but I thought it was just really good to explain that, because I think that's why I think for me this is where I'm just a bit. Listen, I've heard a lot of people on the show today, right? I don't agree with the whole thing about. I mean, yeah, we score a lot of goals. I don't like the way we play. I don't think it's interesting whatsoever. I've got to be honest. I think he's been backed. Postecoglou. I think everyone should know that by now. That I that's what I feel. I don't know why people keep on talking about Daniel Levy now. I think they're making excuses for this manager because of that. And for me, I think he should be doing much better with the players he's got, and I think that's on him. I think he's got too many nice guys at the club. And he works the players way too hard. I think he can be much cleverer with these players. I think he can definitely be more clever right now when we've got so many injuries as well. So
I mean, he does seem to work them out a lot, doesn't he, Alex? I mean, by the time they get on the pitch, it's like they've been on a spit roast for a couple of days, isn't it? I mean, God.
Yeah, I mean,
turn it at both angles.
For me, I'm trying to understand now. I'm actually trying to understand by watching other teams now why I'm not connecting with this football at the moment. Why I'm not connecting my team at the moment, and what sort of manager I need to want at the moment. Because Pochettino's gone. I agree. It was I said it a long time ago. It was the biggest mistake sacking him off and getting Mourinho. But I'm trying to understand, because I am now watching other teams, and they do seem to have similar football, but they've got better players playing it. They've got individuals. Where Stel says about you can see the coaching of the team, I don't agree. I think it's more the individual I need to see, and that's where I think we're missing at the moment, the individual training of different players, and I don't think he's got time for it. And I think that's where
Alex,
losing
that's
it a
what I
bit.
said. I said as individuals defensively, they're not being coached. You can see they've all
No,
regressed.
but
as individuals.
attacking wise, I'm also talking about attacking wise. I'm not impressed with him attacking wise either.
What's
I'm
our biggest
not-
problem, Alex? The attack or the defense?
Oh
in
yeah,
your
I
opinion?
understand, but for me, I think
I'm asking a question. Which do you think is the bigger problem?
I think both is in my
But if you
opinion.
had to pick
Because,
one as being the bigger failure right
okay,
now, what would you
defensively,
focus
yes, but I
Okay.
think individually they're not very good because I think we can score more goals if we are concentrating on them being better players, right? We would be winning more games as well. For me, they will step up in certain moments. You see what I'm saying? Because scoring the same goal every single week, it's only just saying to people, teams, oh, if you stop them doing this, you stop Tottenham scoring goals, don't you? And then because we're letting goals at the back and the midfield's not strong enough, because we don't coach the midfielders to be better as well, and don't think for themselves, right? Because he's letting them do whatever they want to do. I think this is another problem as well. I just think the whole thing.
But Alex, you can't sort out all the problems in one go. I make you
I
right
know.
what you're saying, yeah, I get you. But if there is one problem we have to sort out here and now,
Yeah, defensively.
what one is it we got to sort out most?
Yeah, defensively, yes.
It is.
It is
But
defensively, yes.
I can see where you're coming from. I mean, who is really going to be scared of Johnson, Werner, and Solanke, or
because I think they
Son,
could be better.
Werner,
I think
or whatever?
I just think there's an area where there's just missing a lot of coaching. This is where I'm trying to understand myself at the moment because I'm going to be like I said. I don't want to repeat myself because I'm trying to not repeat myself again. Sorry, guys. I'm trying not to repeat myself because it is getting very boring. But
We'll
I just
try harder then.
I don't try. You cheeky guys, you cheeky. You go cheeky. But I can't. I'm not connecting with this guy. I am not connecting with him whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Eugene, how you doing, mate?
I guess I'm okay. It's about 5 a.m. over here in Malaysia. Guys, just to be honest with all you guys, right? Stel, we met nearly 4 years ago, right? We've been through the ups, the downs, right? Me and you, we are the only ones, right? No. Me and you, we are the only ones, right, that had Boy Hotspur on the channel talking to us. You remember that? Yeah, guys. I mean, all the OGs in there, right? Yeah. And Mr. K and I hosted it. We had him on first, and then we brought you on, and all when shit hit the fan. Right, guys, we're doing this all over. Yeah, we're doing this all over again. And Stel must remember, right? Stel, you're not supposed to be on X, right? And you remember
Eugene, did he do more computer hacking? Did he do more hacking? Is that how he screwed it up? Okay, I was just making sure. Go on.
Nah.
Remember that? I hacked.
Yeah. Now, Stel, we've been here before, right?
I'll ask you how it's done later. Yeah. Go on. Sorry, Eugene.
So, Ange, right? To tell the truth, right? I gave him 1 season to see what he really was. The first 10 games, yay, we got a Tottenham back, right? Even the chairman was proud, came out talking, look, you know, we ain't gonna believe him, right? And when he said that we got a Tottenham back, I shouted, you remember, Stel? I don't want this Tottenham. This Tottenham wins shit, nuts, zero, right? We've not won the league in 60 over years. I don't want that Tottenham. I want new Tottenham. So okay, Ange came in. I gave him a chance. We're not progressing, right? We're regressing, and somehow or another, our most of our fan base are in this PTSD stage, right? We sack another manager. Right? We'll go back to square one again. But I've always been saying the biggest issue, right? If we really want this club to show some ambitions, our fans themselves have to show that ambition, guys. You understand what I'm saying? And if we do not show that the strength that we want, a trophy and glory, right? Entertainment. We're watching entertaining football. Guys, are you really being entertained? Be honest with yourself. With yourself. And the best part is, right? Our chairman lies. Our manager lies. Now even Romero is lying. Guys, Romero threw Conte under the bus. Remember? He was the first one who says that. You know, I don't like him. I never liked him, blah, blah, blah. Now he's coming out saying that I'm backing Ange. My gosh. He's covering his butt as quick as possible while calling out the board. What kind of nonsense is that? But guys, we have to protest and show our displeasure. That's all. But I tell you, we sack Ange, right? There'll be a big hoo-ha for a while. Everything will die down. We'll go back to square one again. That's it. Unless this time, right, the voice is really, really loud. Like when Levy was with Conte at the time, he was really uncomfortable. Still, remember? The wife has to touch him on the lap. Dear hubby, don't be too upset.
Stroke his leg, stroke his arm. She strokes his arm, saying you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Is that all she done? And he's a multi-millionaire.
Maybe a lot of things.
But maybe he just needs to get back on his boat, eh?
I think this time the fans will turn on the board. Actually, I actually think they will this time.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, because so many that defended Levy threw all their energy behind Ange. So if Ange goes, where does that leave them anymore?
I don't think he's leaving anyway. That's why I don't waste my time talking about it anymore. No disrespect to you, Stel or Brian, because I know you two are stalwarts of this Levy Out thing. I don't even want to talk about it.
Who's not leaving? The board.
Wait. But Stel is smarter this time, right? This time he's going to sit back and let the other people do the things.
Yeah, no. I'm not having a go. I'm trying to be respectful to both of them.
Alex, when you say you don't think he's leaving, are you talking about Ange or the owner?
I think both are not leaving. I think both.
I believe they're not leaving too. Yeah.
I know Levy's not leaving. I know Levy's not leaving because he's not going to leave this.
Alex, if we keep losing the league table, and we're halfway through the season, 15th, West Ham and United, who we battered, go above us, you think the board are going to sit there and say, that's all right?
No, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think.
Unless the sounds right in the
stadium. I want him gone, but I don't want Mason in charge. So I'm sorry, I don't want that. But
that's different, Alex. That's a different conversation. You said that you don't think he's going, and I'm saying to you, if we end up 15th after 18 games, you think the board will keep Ange?
At the moment, I don't think so. No, I think at the moment, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think maybe by the end of the season, maybe I think as I predicted, I think you'll walk. But I think at the moment, no. I don't think during the season, no.
Our board and Daniel Levy, right, are always reactive to the fans. Stel, you purposely went to the Chelsea game, right, to see if the Levy Out chance would be as loud when it was in the Southampton game.
I went to
Yeah. So
when we they clapped the team off the pitch. There was no boo. There was no Ange out. There's no Levy Out.
Why? I don't understand why.
Because we scored 3 goals. I think that's
that's bullshit. Michael, I tell you this, right? If we have lost,
because it's who we are, mate. It's who we are.
If we have lost 5-0 straight up, right? I say we are shit. Okay. But we were up 2-0, right? And they were smacking us 4-2, right? They were smacking us. That third goal that went.
Eugene, I think you misunderstood me. I think the fans in the stadium.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the
fans of this club have the mentality of we have to show them we will fight. We are the club that fights. We don't have to win, but we have to fight.
No, but the problem is that, right? That is. To tell you the truth, that's the epitome of being Spursy.
Yeah, but that's my point, Eugene. My point is the fans weren't booing in the stadium against Chelsea because 75% of them are fucking bottle jobs that just enjoy good day out and good football and we watched a 7-game thriller, right? It's
I know.
Like 75% of the stadium thinks like that. The way guys describe
I think 90%, Mikhail, I think 90% of the stadium thinks like that.
Whatever the percent is, right? But the point is that majority in the stadium will only boo when we get slapped like 4-0 or something stupid like that, right? And part of me actually fucking wishes it happened. I don't want this team to lose, but...
Stel, the weird thing is, right, there were tifo papers under the seats at the south stand, right? And after that, the people crumpled it up and threw it at the Chelsea players. They should have done that to Ange.
But
the issue you've got right now.
That was silly. That wasn't good.
From what I can tell in the stadium, right? From what I can tell in the stadium, there isn't an appetite to protest. There isn't an appetite to turn on the owners, because that stadium is full of a lot of fans that I would say are just whatever. No, like whatever. When you go to the away games, the away fans are different. They're a bit more. They're more hardcore. That's why you saw those altercations with Ange after Bournemouth. That's why you saw That's why you heard Levy Out chants. That's why there were punch ups and fights. They're a different breed of fan. They live, eat, breathe. 1 minute. Let me finish what I'm saying. They live, eat, breathe, drink Tottenham. The fans in the stadium are a mixture of corporate, tourist, families, hardcore, experience seekers, moderates. It's a different type of fan. The fan base that comes to the stadium is what Levy wants. This is what he wants to bring in. The fans that go to the away games, Levy doesn't want them fans at this club. They're the problem for him.
Legacy fans.
So at the moment, what you've got is a situation where the majority of the fans in the stadium, they're not taking action. And what's funny is there was very loud choruses of Levy Out when Conte was here. Do you know why?
Yeah.
The football was really bad. Although the results were slightly better, the football was really bad. But because Ange somewhat entertains us, even at 4-2, we got it back to 4-3. Can we nick a draw in the last second? Oh, we better stay for this. Because that is still a possibility. We lost to Bournemouth, but 1 goal and we draw. We lost to Ipswich, but 1 goal, we draw. So because we're still kind of in it, although we're playing like shit, there's an entertainment value associated with it. And what that says to me is, and it goes back to what Dan said, Ange had the easiest job in football. Come here, kick the ball forward, show some entertainment, and the majority of this fan base shows how mediocre their standards are. And that's currently what's going on, which is why I'm not going to the protest on the 22nd, because I want to see who actually turns up and what you actually do. I'm not going to be embarrassed again, and I'm not going to be targeted and abused again. If you get a couple of thousand turning up, I'll throw my weight behind it, because now I know the fans are serious. The fans, they're not talking shit anymore. They actually mean what they say. But for right now, all I'm seeing is on Last One on Spurs, on Cowlin, on We Are Tottenham TV, on many channels, all I'm seeing right now is debates. Balanced.
We've been doing that for how
24
long?
years, and we're still balanced in debates. Well done. I want to see what these
for how long?
but
just a quick thing.
Of a lot of fans. I want to see.
Just a quick thing.
Will you take action, or am I going to be here in a week's time going, yeah, went to the protest, there was 10 of us, and there was 100 people across the road taking pictures for their Twitter and Instagram to point the arrows at us. Ha, 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 ha. Only 10 turned up. Ha, ha, ha. Nah, I've learnt my lessons, man.
Right.
This isn't my first rodeo, guys. This ain't my first rodeo.
Just a point I want to bring up quick. Chat, can we keep it football, please? No need to keep calling out other YouTubers, please. Look, I'll just put it to the point. I know on one side, Sean is a popular person. On another side, he's not a popular person. Same as me, same as Alex, same as Stel, same as Mike, same as Eugene. Everyone's got their likers, everyone's got their dislikers, yeah? But come on, keep it a bit civil. But I'll put it straight. He's got a total different opinion to me. If he wants to come on my show, he's more than welcome. I'm sure Sean's got my number. He can contact me and I'll quite happily do a show with him. Same as I think Stel would and others would. If there needs to be a referee, we could sort that out. So we'd be more than willing to do that. Come, people, keep it a bit civil.
I'll debate anyone on any channel. I don't run away.
Exactly.
Need to pull their fingers out, not me. I've said that.
We don't have to keep mentioning the fella. He's not here to defend himself. So back off a little bit, please.
Well, he digs his own hole, Dan. He digs his own hole.
Yeah, but fair enough. They ain't got to keep doing it. Leave it at that. Right. So the bit I want to go to now, yeah, seeing as we are talking about Levy, and this to me does have something to do with Levy because it is blatantly a dig at him. What Romero did, I must admit I was quite happy with that. But then there's two sides of that for me. I think a few of us have been saying now, Romero don't look like he's interested. He looks like his eyes have gone elsewhere. He looks like he's interested in
Madrid.
He's already interested in Madrid. Well, the way he was playing, the way he's been playing, he's been one of our worst players this season, I think, especially by the standards he's meant to live on. Do you agree with what he done? Do you think he
I
done it for the
don't.
right reasons?
I
Or do you
don't.
think he should have just kept his mouth shut and got on with it? Whatever. Go on,
Why
Alex.
not,
I'll come to
I
you then.
don't.
Why
I
not?
think he's only saying it because he's got because the manager's getting him out of a hole a lot of the time because he's not been playing well, and he's going to go off. He's not really that bothered because he's going to go off at the end of the season. Because for me, at the moment, he's not the best defender right now. Like for me, Dragerson should have never been taken out that team on Sunday. Should never have been taken out that team.
Alex, I would agree with you if he didn't call out the board. I don't like. I get your point about the manager covering his ass when he was playing like badly, right? But he didn't need to call the board out. He could have just said we are behind Ange, whatever, right?
Yeah,
I think
he's
that
doing
part where
Conte.
What are you saying, Mikel? What are you saying, Mikel?
No, I say he's doing a Conte.
Thank you.
Guys, Romero has checked out, right? Ever since Ange says that he's comfortable with conceding, right?
I don't know, guys. Like, is he checked out when he's making comments like this, right? If he was checked out, he could have just kept his mouth shut and not comment at all, right? I think I personally I am not saying that if an offer comes, he won't leave. I say he will most likely leave when the offer
basically
comes,
I think he was stupid because I think he was thinking he was talking to an interviewer in Spanish and nobody will pick it up and translate it back to us.
No, like come on, like let's
guys, this is all premeditated, right? I think this is something set up by the agent. And Ange came up today in his press conference, right? He said Romero was wrong to say that. So I guess the rift is already there. Romero is really going to throw.
Ange is a fucking bitch. He will always backleave you, right? But like I don't think Romero. Yeah, I don't think Romero needed to say that, right? And even if I actually like Alex's logic, right? That Ange has been covering his ass, right? Romero's ass. So he wanted to, give back and repay that, right? But I don't think he needed to call out the ownership, right?
Yeah, you got a good point there. To be honest with you, I listen. I'm just. At the end of the day, at the moment, I just think everything's a bit heightened at the moment because I don't. There is such a divide in the fan base right now. What is going on at the moment, isn't it? And if you like Ange or what the board is, and that's it for me. So, for me at the moment, I just think he's the wrong person to start chatting right now. You know what I mean? I think he should be just focusing on the football, focusing on his own performances at the moment, right? And just becoming and behaving like a vice captain when he's not really acting like a vice captain. He's just acting like another, just a bang average footballer that really just wants to leave. As far as
how long is he injured for?
So, for me, I just think he just needs to just get shut up and get on with it. You know what I mean? Like what is it? Jordan said on TalkSport. I think he's. I mean, there's a lot of times I don't agree with Jordan, but for me, sometimes he does talk a lot of sense. And for me, he was absolutely spot on Romero. I've got to be honest. I just think he thinks he's that too good, and he's not that great. To be honest with you, maybe for Argentina he's been okay, good, but like for me, he's just been an absolute disappointment. And I stand by what I say. I stand by what I say. Dragerson has been a better defender. Well, actually, no. This is even more embarrassing. Davis has been a better defender than him. That just sums up all perfectly for me. A backup in Davis, who should have been gone by now, has been better than bloody Romero, who's supposedly the best defender in the Premier League. Honestly, don't get me started. Honestly. I mean,
he's not the best defender.
Levy King.
No player, right, is supposed to call out the board like that.
Levy King, Sol Campbell, whoever you want to talk about,
right?
Michael Dawson will be shameful by this. By the way,
right?
You know what I mean?
But what he did. Do you think he done it for the right reasons, or
no,
do you think he done it for the wrong reasons?
This is what I'm stating. He's doing it for his own self, his own game.
Selfish reasons.
So you're basically right then. Anything last to say, Stel?
No, I just want to say thanks for having me on, Dan. As always, big up Michael.
No,
Eugene,
appreciate it.
Everyone in the chat, Levy Out, Ange Out, Lange Out, Ange Out, Enoch Out, everyone out. That's me.
Just get it out.
Everyone out. Get it out. Get it out. Whip it out.
Not in that way.
See you later, mate.
By the way, Alex the Scott experience, big up to you, yeah. Right. As far as I'm concerned, yes, he is a better defender than bloody he is a better defender than bloody Romero Dragoson. He is, because he knows how to defend. When you want to when you put him in actually wants to defend, well, you saw the partnership with Dragoson and Davis. We've had good wins with those two. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Right.
The proof of the pudding is when you put those two together, right? Because they know how to defend, we defend very well, right? We got a 4-0 victory against bloody Man City, and those are the two defenders.
But that was the way we had to play against Man City. I think
that's the point. But the thing is, though, you got to.
Why are we going back to that Man City game? It doesn't prove anything. You can say,
right, Mike. Hang on a sec, you two. Mike, what do you think on this with Romero? What he's gone and said is definitely true. No two ways about it. It's true what he has said, and it's good in a way that a player has let it out, and a player of his supposed caliber has let it out. But what reasons do you think he done it for? Do you think he done it for the reason where he loves the club, or do you think he done it for the reason that Levy's now going to kick him as soon as he can? Because he is.
I am torn between two things, right? Because actually, when you listen to Romero and he's like, not only this interview but previous interviews, it actually looks as if he cares, like just like the slightest. It like he had plenty of other interviews when he said that he wants to play for the club, whatever, right? So there is part of me that, and it's not even that believes it, but wants to believe that he said it for the good of the club. And listen, I think it's good. It's really good that a player called out the board, no matter what his personal reason is. But I also partially agree with the fact that I think the easiest way to get out of this club is to call out the ownership.
Conte, right?
Yeah, and it's hard for me to disagree with that point. But I honestly, guys, if he wants to leave and we get good money for him, I don't think he is the type of player that you cannot replace. I think there are plenty of other centre backs that we could get in his place, and we wouldn't lose that much.
Okay, if we was to lose Romero, now I think Romero is a very, very good defender.
So do I, by the way, but I don't think there aren't any others.
But he's not. No, he's not irreplaceable. Not at all. He's no Harry Kane, for instance. Yeah, I mean that is irreplaceable. You're never going to replace it.
But is he having a better season than he had last? Is he having a better?
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Look, what centre back is really going to have a good solid season here? The way we play. Good solid season, not just 3 games, not just 4 games. A good solid season.
Yeah, but Dan, this is where I disagree. Right, top defenders should know how to defend. That should be the main base of you being a good defender. Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The top big defenders should not be sitting on the halfway line, mate.
Well, yeah, but I'm sorry. Yeah, but the top defenders should just know this in their head right now. I'm sorry. He's been in Italian football. Right, in Italian football. Italian football's all about defending. It's all about defending. So I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
Alex,
Eugene, let Mike finish. Let Mike talk.
Yeah, he knew how to defend until Ange came, right? He was defending pretty well under Conte, right? As far as I am concerned, he was defending pretty well at the beginning of Ange's tenure. But the longer it goes, the shitter he gets, right? I just think it's partially his mentality, because I think you called out his mentality plenty of times. I completely agree with that, right? I think that there is part of him that doesn't want to play, right? Doesn't want to do what he's ordered to do, right? But yeah, I honestly, guys, if we sell him for 60 million, fucking bye-bye. I can find you 20 centre backs in his place that will.
I'm with that. I mean, the one that truly gutted me, and who I thought is an excellent defender now, and I've rated him for about 4 years. I mean, Fiorentina is a team I've always had a little soft spot for.
Milenkovic, yeah.
I was so pissed off when Nottingham Forest when I'd done that. Because when I done my first show with Savva, he asked me something about like defenders, whatever else, and I said to him on their clearest day, go get Milenkovic from Fiorentina. It'd be as good as anybody we got.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally think that if we went and got 60 million for Romero, because of the way he's played, we ain't getting no 70 mil for him, yeah? But I still think he can go to a big club because he has got the capability, because he will have the excuse on his back. Well, I'm sorry, how the fuck did you want me to defend when I've got a fucking manager like that telling me to play like that at a club like that, when everybody sees how he can actually play for his country? And so it wouldn't surprise me if Real Madrid go for him. I think he's a very, very capable defender as long as he's got the right people around him as well. And you can say that about a lot of players. They need to be playing the right system, the right way. You can say that about most of our bloody team. But I wouldn't be crying if he left. I'd be a bit, oh, okay, shit. Who are we going to bring in to replace him? Me personally, we get 60 million for him, example. I'd then go and offer 35, 40 million and, I don't know, have Ben Davies. No, but I'd go and offer 40 million for Milenkovic and test Nottingham Forest, because they're not in trouble, but they're not exactly safe with money either, as such. I know they spent a lot of it, but they nearly got themselves in trouble with it as well. I would go and try and put in a cheeky bid and get Milenkovic from there, personally. That is what I'd try and do. But there is plenty of other defenders in the world that we can get that can do a job that he's doing at the moment. I don't think he's an irreplaceable defender. I mean, what do you reckon on that?
I don't think he's irreplaceable either.
is coming back.
I think we don't. I don't think you need. He's irreplaceable. No, I don't think he is. I think we can get. I think we can get some money for him and then sell him and then just get a better defender in. Because I think you can. You can. There's a lot of good defenders out there. Good. I wouldn't say brilliant defenders. I think. But good defenders out there that are competent, as I would say. I do think Mikel's got a good point. I think it was you, Dan, that said that defenders would struggle on the high line, but then it goes back to what Stel said. You need to coach them properly, coach them in defensively, and that's where I think we're. That's where defenders are going to get lost. I think it is a little bit of an excuse though, because was Van Dijk playing in a high line under Liverpool?
Not a high line like us. Not like us. Not like us. I mean, there's a high line, and then the high line we should be unconscious, basically. If you get what I mean.
Honestly, guys, when I look at our setup, right? I kid you not, I think that you put fucking Rodri in the number 6 for us and he will struggle. You put Van Dijk in that backline and he will struggle with the way we play. It's just so stupidly open the way we set up. I honestly think it's ridiculous, right? You put fucking Trent Alexander-Arnold, you put Guardiola as a left back, you put Van Dijk and I don't know Saliba as a centre back pairing. And you put Rodri in front of them, and with this setup, they will all struggle defensively. This is, by the way, this is partially like when we were doing North London is Ours. I know this show hasn't been on for quite a bit, right? But we were talking with Stefan, right? And we are arguing whether, Van de Ven and Romero are better than Saliba and Gabriel, right? And I made the point back then that if you just swapped those players, right, and you put Van de Ven and Saliba into Arsenal's system, Van de Ven and Romero into Arsenal's system, and you put Saliba and Gabriel into our system, I think Gabriel and Saliba would struggle in this system. Not because they are amazing players, right? I will keep stressing that I think they are amazing players, but in this system, the way those center backs are exposed, I think they would struggle anyways, right? I think we just leave so many players out in the dark.
Yeah, big up, Diego. Hope you're doing well. But guys, it's just simple, right? I think Ange's system in the Premier League will not work. Right? I think Dan's been saying it. I think all the world-class players we bring into our unless you have all the world-class players in the world, then maybe it'll work. You understand? So how do you expect, right? Defenders, right, run back 60 yards, right, every 5 to 10 minutes just to cover a ball.
Yeah.
Nobody's hamstrings are gonna be able to handle that, and especially the speed of the Premier League, it doesn't work. Simple as that, right?
Look, our team covers more ground than any other team in the Premier League by a significant amount. I mean, when I saw it, I can't give you the exact numbers. I don't write them down on the back of my hand. But from what I did read of it, we do actually cover a lot more pace than any other team in the Premiership as a whole. A lot more pace, a lot more distance as such.
You know why, Dan?
Which isn't necessarily good.
Because we play such a
That's
high
not
line.
a good thing.
Yeah, and that's because we play such a high line. Whenever a ball comes over the top, our players are always chasing
the
back.
link if you want it.
Yeah, big up.
We do cover so much ground and run about, and they're chaotic. And I agree with what you said, Mike. Yeah, any defenders you go and put there, it's like I've said about this whole team. Go and give him a world-class team of world-class players, all the best you can think of, and they ain't going to cover this out for 38 games and win a league with it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
His tactics are just too heavy for a league of this caliber.
Yeah.
For a Spanish league, for a German league, for a Italian league. I think the only league he might get away with this in and still struggle is if he was at PSG in France, and I think he'd still struggle with it then, playing this way. This way, you just cannot do it game for game.
Yeah.
And this is where we just want our man to adapt. And he has just given no evidence yet that he's going to.
No, he can't. That's the worst part, right? I think is that he can't. You understand? I don't know whether it's a mental block or it's his arrogance. And the worst fear is that he doesn't know how to. You get what I'm saying? He's like, oh shit, I don't know how to play any other way. What the fuck am I going to do? And I've got a shit bunch of players that are getting injured. Guys, I've been saying, right? We've been in the bottom half by years end.
By the way, Tony Rodriguez comment, right? Ledley would all, Toby and Ledley would all suffer in this stupid system, right? Can you imagine Ledley King with his fucking paper knees in this system?
Hey, big up,
running back 50 meters every 5 minutes.
Big up, Brian.
Yeah,
that's just Mike. That one just ain't happening, mate. I mean, by the time the fella done the first 10 minutes, he'd be in a bloody wheelchair by the time he went on. And that's no insult to the fella. That's just fact. He didn't have a.
He's still better than all of our defenders that we've got at the moment. He's our best.
For sure.
Maybe he is Alex. But he's not making it on one run from the back, from the mid to the back.
Oh yeah. But
he would literally have to play on a scooter or in a wheelchair or something, because he ain't doing that. So, Brian, how are we doing?
I'm all right, buddy. I'm all right, brother. How are you? How is everyone?
Same Spurs, different day.
Yep.
Brian.
Yep.
Big up, Brian.
Right.
Big up, my brother.
Alex, brother. Big up, brother. You good?
Yeah. So, what do you think about what Romero did? Seeing as that's what we was just sort of bantering on as such, what do you think about what he did? Do you think he did it for himself? Do you think he did it for the system? Do you think it was the right thing to do? Do you think he done it to get out? What are the reasons to it?
I'm delighted he did it. I'm delighted he did it. Absolutely goddamn delighted. Listen, we've all asked, and not just Spurs fans from all clubs, for their clubs to be more in communication with the fans, so you get a better insight of what's going on. I don't mean that everything that's going on in the boardroom or anything like that, but it's okay when you hear a director of football come out and talk. It's okay, but we all get fed this media corporate bullshit from Lange, or when Paratici got rolled out, or whoever it was, or the manager, or Spurs players after social media, after a defeat, with we grow from this, we learn, we come back bigger, we apologise. But it's literally pick up a template answer, and we'll go with this one today. We'll just change the. This is a member of the leadership team calling it as it is. You want your players to say it how it is and speak out. I wish more would. I wish more would come out and say, if Romero was talking bullshit, why have players not come out to the defence and said, "Oh no, Romero was wrong"? Listen, I want more teams to be able to do this. We live in a world of social media and where players are in demand and want to give interviews, or people want to interview them. Why can't they speak their mind?
Maybe the domino effect will happen, like Brian. I hope that's what's happened. But we know it won't, right? This could be a slip up or something that they thought they had control with. because I think maybe while he was doing a Spanish interview, right? So
I've just got to laugh at Junior Matthew.
I know they always say that. yeah, you do.
He's a very good friend of mine. He's a diamond. I love him, but he's a wind-up merchant.
Do you think he done it for the right reasons, though, Brian?
That's the question, isn't it, Dan? Has he done it because that's the
I'm happy he's done it no matter what. I mean, the fact that he's done it, I'm over the moon. Like, yes, a player of caliber as such has actually called him out, basically.
But do we need a reason?
Hang on, Eugene. Eugene, hang on. I'll ask Brian. What? Well, go on.
Let me just answer Jordan first as well, because I saw a couple of people commenting about that. I knew about that debate show on We Are Tottenham TV yesterday within about 45 minutes before it went on. Now, there's a lot of people saying I didn't react, I didn't shout, I didn't scream, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Well, there's multiple reasons. One, and most importantly, I had work at 3 p.m. your time, and this was 2 to 3. And the last thing I need to do is start shouting and screaming and get riled up and worked up, and then go to work. They're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fucking fine. Let's have a rock." No, I weren't going to do that. Also, I knew the subjects in order. And the third subject was, should there be more pressure on Daniel Levy? So I was keeping my powder dry and my nose clean and my mouth shut to get to that subject. And that subject, every time I thought we were about to change on to the next subject, it didn't change. When we finally got there, was 4 minutes before I had to start work. So listen, that debate, listen, the thing is, look, I wanted to say a lot more. I could have said a lot more, but funny enough, I don't. There's people that want to do their debating and talking on a stream, and there's people that will do their debating and action live and in person. Yeah. And if anyone wants to try and compare what they've done for Levy Out to me, good luck trying. Good luck trying. If you have flown over from a different country, like if Jonas is in the chat like I did from Finland, if you could have flown over to England to see your family after your second COVID jab in June or July, but you said no to seeing your family for the first time in 2 years, because if you did that, you couldn't then come back in October for the NFL protest. I chose to go back for the NFL protest rather than seeing my family first. I did that because I said I'll be there. If when I came back, I stood outside a training ground for 16 days, starting off with 3 people from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And freezing your butt off, right?
I was doing everything that I did on YouTube and social media. If you got yourself on the television to speak about this, if you then, with loads of other people, the people that I protest with, made plans, turned up to protest, put the banners out, gave hours of my time, hours, to arrange protests, attend protests, be at protests, take the abuse, verbally, not physically, verbally, online, verbally to my face, aggressively to my face, racially to my face, but stood there and took it and did it. So there are a lot of people that like to talk and talk and talk and talk. And there are people that will walk the walk as well. And I challenge anyone to try and walk the walk as much as I have within this community, apart from Stel. Anyone within this, I mean, anyone in the chat, in anywhere. So there were people saying I was quiet, I should have done more, should have done this, should have done that. Think why the reasons were, like I've just said. Believe me, if the Levy subject had been first, more would have been said. But it is We Are Tottenham TV's channel. We Are Tottenham TV run it. Yes, Sean was on it. Yes, Sean spoke a lot more than most people. Could I have challenged and interrupted? Yes, I could have. Did I not want to challenge because I wanted to get to that subject before I had to go to work? Completely. I don't know why. And again, I mentioned this, Dan, and you saw me when I went on my rant at Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. When I went on my Bournemouth rant on We Are Tottenham TV, and I said, I don't care who I offend when I say this. For some reason, this fan base right now and for the last few years has become a fan base where you think we think what we have to do is get one up on each other and go, you're right, I'm wrong. I told you this would happen. You're toxic. You're negative. You're positive. You're a happy clapper. You're an international fan. You don't matter. What do you know? Where are you from? How long are you supporting the club? I'm a bigger fan than you. You're a bigger fan than me. Michael's an international fan. And Eugene. Just because they can't get to protest, apparently they're not worthy. They don't know what they're doing. They're not. Their opinion's not. We have become a fan base that decides now that the way we get progress, or the way that I'm a better fan than you, is to try and prove people wrong and call them every name under the sun, rather than concern about what's going on that football pitch.
Yeah, that's true.
And if people have watched me for long enough and seen me in the flesh, I don't call people out individually. I talk collectively. And as I said, and I'll go back to it, if anyone wants to challenge me and say, I should have done this or I should have done that, come to me and show me what you've done compared to what I've done, and we'll stack it up. And believe me, you will come short. Unless you're someone like Billy Card, Stel, Boogie, Ryan Isaacs, Graham. Very, very few people that can stand toe-to-toe with me and say, I've been there, done that, blah, blah, blah. But what happens now is because I didn't say something or didn't speak enough on a show, I could have done better. I should have done more. Please. I'm right here now in Canada. Do you think I'm not speaking daily to the main guy that's trying to run this protest? Do you not think I'm using my contacts that I have in certain things to help push that? Do you not think I'm already seeing if I can get home in January or February rather than April on a long weekend to stand there and protest? Because if I can, I will.
But Brian,
I can't come for a week. I can't come for 2 weeks. I can come for a long weekend. If I can get there, I'll be there. I will be there. But I'm constantly in talks with Jay, constantly in talk with my group, constantly in talk with everyone. And that's where it goes. So I just needed to say that because these comments are driving me mad at how people just literally, this is what, Dan, this is what we've become. Like, you've heard me say this before, whether I've been on a stream with you on your channel, or you see me when I've been on other channels. I don't know why this fan base can't come together and unite for wanting better on the pitch, rather than going, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you, I'm a bigger supporter, I don't go to games, I do go to games, you live here, I live there. We all know what's going on now. And finally, it looks like the wheels are turning.
Right, Brian, you've got things on your channel showing that what you've done for Levy Out though. You've been on TV and stuff. It's all there.
Videos of it too.
It's all there. So I don't even know why. If people, I don't even know why people are questioning you. You know what I mean? I don't even get the whole thing. Like, but yeah.
Guys, it's a very simple thing. They're just trying to stir the narrative again. You get what I'm saying? All I know is very simple, right? I've been saying this for so long. Brian's been saying this for so long. I mean, most of us have been doing this for so long, right? This is the ego of our fan base, right? Who always wants to win, to get one better over the other. That's the problem, right? And the worst part of this, right, is mostly on social media. Yeah.
Listen. I'm just going to say this, yeah. Say this. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, right. Me, Dan, Savva, Stelios. I think Brian was in this as well. If we call out somebody, we're saying we want to debate them. Yeah, we're all about debates. Yeah, we like to be challenged. Yeah, right. If that's the case, we just do it like that. You know what I mean? And we just leave it there. That's the thing, because that's what Mr. Box Office is all about. And I know that's Savva, because he does his on his whole debate show, which is brilliant, by the way. And because I think everyone's doing it. Even got Jacob doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, we know what we want in terms of debating, yeah? Right? In terms of anybody else, if you're going to have a go at us, we're there. We're here to debate. And that's all we're going to say on this. You know what I mean? The whole other thing with the fan base, that's them. I'm not involved in it. I'm not interested. I've got my thoughts. You can either challenge me, I'll make a debate show, leave it there. Back to you, Dan, I'm done.
Brian, with everything you said there, mate, I
Yep.
agree with you. The thing that really bugs me here, yeah, is I know we can all put things and make it sound very simple, and even things that are that simple in life just usually ain't that fucking simple, even though they are simple at times. I know that contradicts itself, but I'm sure people get what I'm trying to get at there. A majority of this fan base, from what I notice, like on the channels mainly,
Yeah,
do have roughly the same opinion, bar one or two, and everyone is allowed their opinion. Back it up with what you've got, and people do. Whether you like them or not, other people do back up their opinion. So fair enough, you're allowed your opinion. But then with all of us that want this Levy out and want something to be done, or at least put them in pressure where they've got to do something for the football side of the club, yeah? Why can't the channels sort of work together? Even the people that don't like each other, put that aside for the moment and work together to try and get something working here. Because for me,
we've tried it.
We
before.
all know, and yeah, but that was before Eugene. If you let me finish here, yeah. Again, this is purely opinionated. For me, the most two powerful things on this planet is religion and money. That is what has killed so many people. That is what has caused so much power. Yeah, religion and money, most two powerful things ever. You'll never beat it. You'll never stop it. They will always be the most powerful things on the planet that people will live and die for. I think one of the other most powerful things on this planet now, or a big part of it, actually is social media. You can make things happen on social media. You can make things change on social media. I mean, Donald Trump just got elected, and he even stated himself that a majority of it was through the social media support he got, and a lot of other things. Social media these days is more powerful and dangerous in a way than a lot of people realize. As all it takes is someone to make a wrong comment about you on social media, and then all of a sudden it goes all over social media. For next thing you know, you've got 100,000 to 1 million people all of a sudden knowing this thing that ain't even true, but it's all over social media in a matter of moments. It don't take long to get it about. So if a lot of these panels, a lot of these channels, whatever you want to put it, would actually work together when we actually believe in the same thing, even though a lot of us disagree on whether Ange should be manager, whether Son should be captain, whether we're playing the right way, whether Ange should have more time. I don't give a fuck, yeah? On the main thing, a lot of people agree for the fact that something needs to be done about these fucking owners, yeah? That something needs to be sorted. So why don't we team up together?
Well, Dan, let me just say, because I can see Sean's here. I can see Mr. Sean, Mr. Spurs Talk Show. And I'll say it here. I would have said it without him being here. He's about 5 comments from the top. Sean and I have known each other for about 2.5 years. I think it's about 2.5 years, maybe. Sean, I think 2.5 years.
Yes, yeah.
And Sean and I have gone head to head, debated. I've even debated with him when he first started coming on. I was getting so riled up by Sean, and he'll remember this. Yeah. I actually picked up a blooming, what's it called, a serving tray and started smashing myself on the head. I think I gave myself a concussion. I was doing it in humour, but I think I whacked myself so hard with it. I've debated with Sean about...
Yeah, what I do here, hang on a sec, Brian. What I do here, there you go, Sean. There's the link for you. No one else, if you want to come on and say something, come on. And feel free to say your pace.
Where I was getting with it, Dan. Sorry, Dan. Go on.
Every other time you've come on here, mate, I've always let you say your piece. I've always defended you on the side. Not that you need it. I know you can back yourself up, but anyone who comes on my channel is welcome to their own opinion and to debate it. And there's the link. There's your offer, mate. If you've got some time and you want to do it, feel free, mate. We're here. Anyway, fine.
Yeah, no. So as I say, me and Sean, like I said, we have gone back and forth. And mainly on the ownership, and we wildly, and I do mean wildly, disagree on the ownership. He looks at it the way that he likes to. I look at it a completely different way and Sean does care about the football, but he's a lot more business and financial savvy than I am. Mm-hmm. But it never, ever, ever, ever gets personal with me and Sean. Never, ever, ever, ever gets toxic with Sean, ever. We wildly disagree. And this... I've kept trying to explain this. And listen, people can be how they want to be about anyone. Just don't get personal. And Sean is going through shit at the moment, a lot of shit. But what I've always said is, imagine Mount Everest is Mount Levy. Let's just call it Mount Levy. Myself, Eugene, you, everyone here, Stel and whatever, we're at the very top. We are at the summit. I have posted my flag at the top of the summit. I am at the top of Mount Levy. I'm not coming down. Now, the way you're going to get people climbing the mountain and wanting to join there and be with you is by debating calmly, rationally, open discussions, and talking calmly. Because if I keep going, you're an arsehole, you're a CUNT, you're this, you're that, you're a... Why are they going to want to come up there? Why are they going to want to support, whether they want to or not? If all they get... And don't get me wrong, I will say now, the abuse that comes from the other side is just as bad. It's not a one-way street. But I've seen a lot of people on my side of the thing go absolutely hell for leather at others. And it's the same way. But if you want people... Right now, we're getting the numbers. If you look at it, there are big accounts. You've seen Spurs song sheet come out with statements today saying we're now not doing anything with the club. We're disillusioned with them. Return of the Shelf, someone that I've had debates with, don't really, but me and him don't get on. But he's got a big. Oh, I forgot he's in the room, Junior. I can't say a word. Big people with big accounts or with big match day present going things are actually getting traction here. And it's tying up crackers from Last Word and Spurs. It's starting again. I don't care how long it takes people to get to the summit. I've been there for 17 years. Mm-hmm. All that matters is you get there, you stay up there, and when you're up there, you support the cause. And if you go to the games or can get to the ground outside, you make an impact. But I thought you're not going to get fans to join what you're saying or want to support you or even agree with you, even if they do. If a lot of the group is like, oh, they're rude bastards, they're not violent, they're vile, they shout, they scream, if you don't agree with them, they'll bitch and moan at you and call you, and it's both sides again. I don't care. Stel regularly talks about Pochettino being his breaking moment, where Stel said Pochettino was the final straw for me. As of that moment, I was Levy Out. Fair play. Mine was Martin Yole. I don't go to Stel, where were you the other 6 years, or however long it was. There are other people that was Jose Mourinho being hired. There were others at the Super League. You got to remember, there's people at different ages, different times they supported Spurs. Right now, because of what's going on, there is a huge momentum, the biggest I have seen, for push for change. Whether we get it is another thing. But the more and more people come on, like with Alan Sugar, it took thousands, not hundreds. Yeah. And the way we are going to get these thousands is by people having that moment and go, do you know what? I'm done. I've tried everything. I thought this stadium would change things. I thought this would change things. I thought the money was going back into play. I've now seen that I've been conned. If someone comes on right now and puts in that message and goes, you know what, Brian, losing to Chelsea was the final straw for me, I'm Levy Out. I'm not going to go, oh, you prick, what took you so long? I'm going to say congratulations. Thank you. It took you that moment to get there. You're now there. I know people that were from the second that Enoch took over. They don't say to me, what took you till Martin Yole, you dumb prick? They're like, brilliant, you're on board. That's how it happens. It's a movement that is growing and growing and growing. And right now, big accounts, there's lots, but again, and I can't stress this enough. I'm not going to start saying what the plans are. They will be mentioned nearer to the time because I know what the club have done before to stop my protests that I attended and organised. Yeah. I know the spotters they send, the things they do. I've also done it where we tweeted about it so early and then it gets ridiculed by the people that don't want change. And that puts a kibosh in it and it starts more interaction. So the more and more people are changing, and Spurs' song sheet releasing their statement today. There's loads of people backing that now. The media are now talking about it, and I'm not just talking Sky Sports. It's really, really, really I'm delighted with where this is going right now because more people are seeing it. I just hope more people see it the further and further we go down the line, because we're no longer, I keep saying this, we are no longer a football club. We are an entertainment complex that hosts multi-purpose events, that has an ever-growing property portfolio, that has football as a side hustle. That's how I see my football club now. Other people might not. That's how I see it. But like I said at the beginning of this, when I saw Sean, the debate doesn't always have to be shouting and screaming and calling people every name under the sun. That's going to win you nothing. They might get a few clicks and a few likes and shared around WhatsApp groups or Twitter. Oh my God, look at them going at each other. We need to achieve more. And YouTube is a very, very, very big platform for it. It's not the only platform. It's not like you said, Dan, social media and Twitter, how big it can be. YouTube can be that big. But there aren't 65,000 of us on YouTube that go to matches every single week.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the difference. We can promote, talk and have our say, but at the end of the day, it'll be the people that can get to the ground, whether they're there going for the match or not.
That is what matters at the end of the day, isn't it? You can have all the verbal support in the world you need, but when it comes to the physical support you need, i.e., people being there,
correct.
That is what matters at the end of the day. You can call everyone every name under the sun if you want, but if you're not there on the day for the meeting, it just makes it irrelevant at the end of the day, doesn't it? In that aspect. Right, just want to say, John Lee, for Super Chat, much appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. And Dan, do you think Levy and Ange explain this season? Every game, I'm getting nervous. We finished 5th last season. Mate, I just don't know where this season is going at the moment. I don't know whether Angie's going to get backed up. I don't think that Angie's good enough. I just honestly don't. I'm just as nervous as you, mate. I don't think we're going to get better than what we did last season. I cannot see that happening. I think we're going to be lucky if we finish 10th at the moment. And if we definitely don't buy no one in January, we're going to be even more screwed because I think there's more injuries to come. Mate, I just honestly don't know. What about you, Free? Any answer to that?
Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. I love this.
Brian.
I love it.
Anyone else got something to say to the comment here?
Dan Eugine, explaining the game, getting nervous. We finish.
I just don't know where this season's going to go.
I'm not nervous because I know my feelings on the team anyway, so I'm not nervous. I don't enjoy how we play. I'm sorry. I've made my decision already. I'm now to that point now where I don't want to say the same thing about what I'm thinking. I've said it on Mr. Box Office TV. I did the show. Well, why I don't back Ange Postecoglou. So I've already put it on there. People need to just watch it and just make their comments on that. You know what I mean? You know, and appreciate the main event. But the point is, is that I'm now looking at other managers because I need to understand why I'm not connecting with this manager right now. Because it didn't take that. It taken me a season and a half to connect with Pochettino. I saw something there. It taken me only a few games of the season to get to connect with Martin Jol. It didn't take anything to connect with Harry Redknapp. You know what I mean? It taken me a season to like half a season to get used to connect with Villas-Boas. You know what I mean? So for me at the moment, I need to try and understand because at the moment I don't enjoy this football. I do not enjoy the way we play. I do not enjoy it. One thing I will say, there's an argument that our XG's up. Well, why do you think? Because most of the goals are just put across the box, to the other winger, and it's easy tapping for them, isn't it? So that's why XG is so up. So that's why people are saying that we love this manager. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. The excuses for this manager.
It's just.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, thanks for the super chat. John, it is much appreciated, mate. But I can't explain this season or where it's going to go or where I think it's going to go, mate. So thanks a lot for the super chat. It's just that I'm just as nervous as you, mate. Believe me. Anyway, Psycho Teacher, how we doing, mate? You said you wanted to jump on and say hello.
Of course, I would like to meet you. It's been so long we've been chatting.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I said tune next time. Do a show and that. If you want to jump on, you're more than welcome.
Thanks a lot.
So come on, with everything that's going on at the moment, what do you think the channels can do about it if they unite together? What do you think the fans can do about it if they actually stand together as a group and fight for what they believe in? Do you think this, as in YouTube, can actually help anything?
Pretty much these days, YouTube, social medias. I feel a bit, bad because as I'm not in England, I'd like to participate more, to take part more in what we can do it. Actually, I have got plans to go to London next year, but I don't know if I will be in London at the time. We will be doing something, And I feel a bit bad, loving the club so much and seeing the situation which has been going on, and not being able to be there with you guys, to do something more participative. I apologize by it, indeed.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I just think if we work together, surely we could get further.
Let's do this question. What could I do as a foreign Spurs fan? What do you think I could do, sir?
There's not a lot you can do if you can't be here, and that's not your fault. But there's a lot of people who live just around the corner or an hour on a tube or train or whatever who will shout out a lot of things, and when it comes to the crunch, wouldn't be there.
Yeah, but then that's where the social media. That's where social media. I'm going to call you teacher because I don't want to be going psycho. Oh no, Mark. I'm sorry, Marcos. I will say honestly, it depends if you have a social media presence. That's what Dan was going on about. Yeah, mate. I told you. I told you, Junior Mafia. If there's a Southgate in Tottenham, there's a Daigle in London. Put it that way. Yeah, social media. When I was doing the protest last time, I had people from all around the world retweeting anything or doing it. Eugene was doing it. That's all you can do.
I even thought, gathering all the foreign Spurs fans, even though helping in a way financially, I don't know, gather some money to help out, the ones who are, in local protesting in a way or another, try to do something practical, not only using the social media or, talk to you guys and supporting you verbally, but in a way more practical. So getting together, whatever money is which is necessary for those demonstrations, protests, would be already something I would feel better off, I think, and knowing I was doing something. What do you think about it?
Okay, I'm just going to stop this for 1 second because can you bring up Sean's comment at 8:08 your time?
8:08.
8:08. Sorry, 10:08. Sorry, I'm doing.
I was going to say I'm not even that far ahead yet. Are you on about this one?
No, there's one at 10:08 in between Vindaloo and Indian Guna.
Okay, let me find, because like I say, I'm a couple of minutes behind on everything. That one? No.
You'll say, I'll read it to you. Sean has just put, I had 3 death wishes upon him yesterday because it was whoever you are.
Oh, that's not cool.
You're pathetic. You are literally pathetic. This is what I was talking about. Whether you agree or disagree with Sean, whether you agree or disagree with me, this is, it's on last word as well. This is horrific. Now, there are a lot of people, I get on with Sean famously well. Like I said, we differ completely on football, on our opinions, but he's a mate. He's been a good mate. He's helped me when I was down, and he knows right now with everything he's going through, if he needs me, I'm there as a friend. Forget football. Forget football. This is pathetic. This is absolutely, it's a football club. And as much as a football club is a huge part of our world, this is unacceptable. That a guy can come on and have his views, which Sean knows, especially with the Ocean, I completely disagree with. But that's ridiculous. And listen, I know Stel's had him as well, and that's fucking wrong as well. Whoever's had it, I mean, funnily enough, no one's given me one or said anything. I've had threats and not that. This is fucking pathetic.
It's uncalled for purely because you got a different opinion. But in that aspect, I will say that is just the way the political side of the world goes now, whether it's football, whether it's anything. You've got a different opinion. But that's uncalled for. It's like I said, why do you need death threats because you've got a different fucking opinion on football? At the end of the day, whether I like a person or don't like a person or whatever else, the way I've always worked is you're allowed your opinion. And if I agree with someone's opinion, whether I like you or not, I will actually make the person right over someone that I do like. I've had it before where I've been in a pub and I've had a mate having a debate with someone that I really don't like, but my mate was wrong. And I had to tell him I was wrong. He was wrong, and I was more on the other person's side. Yeah, sometimes it might make you feel physically sick, but I've just got that attitude. If you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. Or if I agree with you, I do. And if I don't, I don't. But everybody is allowed their own opinion, and it's something I fight for strongly. I haven't got to agree with it. Same as that word. People use respect differently. People use other things differently. For me, respect is something you earn. I haven't got to respect you or anybody. I haven't got to respect your faults. I haven't got to respect what you believe in. I haven't got to respect what you would die for. I haven't got to respect none of it. I've just got to show the common courtesy and try and get it that that's your way, and that's fine. And I haven't got a problem with it. I haven't got to respect it. I haven't got to agree with it, but there's no point in me turning at you and giving you a death threat or whatever just because I don't like your opinion. I do think that is well OTT. And there's a couple of people that I see copy. I mean, the amount that Savva and Stel have had are probably the most that I personally know of death threats they've had between them. I've seen Stel get them consistently on X. And Savva, I've heard and seen of the death threats he got and what happened to him. All because you got a different fucking opinion on football. Really. We all love football and got a passion for it, mate. But isn't that
The difference is though, I'm not going to talk about what's happened because that's wrong anyway. But the world's a very nasty place at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into that because that's going way out of football. But the difference is between Stel, Savva and Sean, those two do a debate show. You get what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the whole thing. What you just spoke about. That's private. Not going into that. That's not my business. Right? Just get that absolutely clear. Right? Right? But I'm saying, right? If it's getting to a point where people disagree with people, those two do a debate show, right? And say, if you disagree with me, there's the link. Here you go. You get what I'm saying? And that for me says a lot to me. You know what I mean? That says a lot to me. You know what I mean? So it's like people that have the bottle to come sit there and watch Savva, and people that have the bottle to come on the show. So I'm sitting there saying, well, I'm sorry, but you can have a go at him. But it's like, well, he's giving you a link to debate, to challenge him. And to be honest, he gets a buzz out of it. To be honest, he looks bored when he don't get challenged anyway. You know what I mean? Stadius as well. So I'm sorry, when people start having a go, I'm like saying, sorry, wait a minute here. And I'm going to start doing it soon as well, by the way, because Mr. Box Office likes to get in the challenge as well. You get what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean?
Ridiculous. Listen, I thankfully haven't had that, but I do have regularly Holocaust pictures put under my stuff. It gets to a point where it's football. It's football. You don't like, you don't agree, you don't watch. It's that simple. It really is that simple. I will say, and I will say every time a financial thing, like when the Joe Lewis thing originally happened, the very first channel I looked to was Sean Butler's. Because when it does come on the financial side and breaking it down, he's the one to go to. If I want to hear about Levy Out stuff and why I won't go to Sean Butler's channel. It's that simple.
But
I love EastEnders. I never miss an episode. Cast down Coronation Street. I don't watch it. That's simple.
I think you two have to. I think what I liked about We Are Tottenham TV, they're starting to get people together to debate who don't agree. I think that's where we need to just stop this whole, we need to do this. Just, people streaming one person. I think what we need to stop doing right now. Right, let's just get this all out of here now because everyone's here now. Come on, let's just put our cards on the table right now. Yeah, right. I just think every one of you just need to just let your egos go and just have a debate with each other. That stops it right there and then. That's the way it does. That's the way it should go. But the thing is though, because everyone's saying, "Oh, we've got to be nice to each other. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. We've got to do this." I'm fed up of it. I've had it for 4 years now. I've done this 5 years. I've seen this how many times? It's boring. Like if you look. Like I said before, yeah, right.
Oh, is it?
If you lot do, if you should be debating each other, simple, yeah. Put a referee together in the middle, and that's it. I've been asking Sean how many times, get me on with him to debate him. He ain't answered. He ain't answered.
Well, guys,
He's bottling it.
just hold on, Brian, Alex, Marcus, Dan. Thanks for having me on. It's going to be nearly 6:30 a.m. in Malaysia. All I gotta say is, right, social media, in the end of the day, it always becomes like that, right? Like what Alex says is true. Put down egos, put on a debate, put on a good show, have an understanding with each other, and we try to move on, right? Like that is just football. We want the best for our club. Each and every Spurs fan, in deep down in our heart, we want the best for our club. But maybe people's certain best is a certain kind of thing, and certain people have certain kind of ways to have their best. So we're all human. Right, no one's perfect. We're fallible, right, guys? Levy out, Brian. We have to catch up soon, bro. Right?
Damn right, brother.
Yeah, take care.
Take care of yourself, Eugene. Good to see you, mate.
Everyone, have a good show. Bye-bye.
Later on. So, with what's coming up last, then that I'll go to before this, I just still think if the fan base actually got together more on YouTube, the people who do channels and that, you could get the word about a lot more. And I do think the word is getting about a lot more. But then it all comes down to what you say, Brian. It's all down to who would actually, there's talk the talk and then there's walk the walk. And so many people say it about the manager. He talks the talk, he talks about how he wins in his second season and we're going for titles and that. People say that, and he's now got to walk the walk. Well, if everyone's going to, maybe it's the same rules, isn't it?
Well, I have to say very quickly, I know your wife is watching, so I have to say the way you switch that from ownership and walking the walk to the manager, your Daddy Dyer acting training is paying off there. Your presenting is paying off there. I see that segue. Look, people, I've been questioning a lot about my stance on Ange. Dan, you've questioned me on it. Alex, you have. It's hard for me.
I don't question you, but I'm being nice to you, but I feel bad doing it. I feel bad questioning you, but because you know, I love you as a person. You know,
yeah, of course.
It's just football. It's football. Because I feel bad. I feel bad. I do feel bad.
Why do you feel bad? I don't feel bad questioning anybody about anything.
No, but Brian's a good friend.
If I don't get it or I don't agree with it,
yeah, but Brian's a good friend. Brian's a good friend. So I know what he's gone through.
What's that got to do with it?
I know, but listen, Dan, take some credit. Let me give some credit to the boy. You know what I mean? This is Mr. Box Office talking to you. Yeah. Sometimes I don't really go at people. You know what I mean? So take the credit when it's due. You know what I mean? This is nice. Don't get used to it though. Sorry, Brian. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. Listen, like I said, I do breakdown, shakedown. I do. East End is life, mate. Albert Square is real. Wolford is a real place. In Elstree. I'm questioning the manager seriously now. But the reason my main stance has been is because I just don't want to keep repeating every 2 years. Is that enough of a reason to say I need to stand by the manager? If I look at this, probably not. Probably not. I am seriously questioning myself right now. And I looked at it when I went on Spurs. When I went on We Are Tottenham after the Chelsea game, I said it's a results-based business at the end of the day. And you're based on your results. And then you see these stats about since the last Chelsea game where we lost 4-1 or 4-1. I can't remember what it was, 4-1 and 4-2, that we've lost more than we played. Lost more than we won. You start looking at the points we've dropped this season compared to other managers like Nuno and others got the sack. If you look at the history of this club, managers have lost their jobs for less. I can completely agree with that. If he was to, let's say we lose tomorrow. Let's just say here for shit. We lose tomorrow and Spurs act and sack him. Should this happen? Can I blame? Can I, like I was fuming when we let go of Poch, fuming. Will I be that fuming if Ange was to be let go tomorrow if we lose to Rangers? No, I won't. No, I won't. But I'm still hoping he can turn it around. But I don't think he's got enough time to turn it around now, personally.
Mm.
And listen, but what you can say as well, when people say he's lost the dressing room because they're not playing for him, you can say that. But what I will say, and
you could believe it.
You can believe it, but you know what I am starting to think as well? And this isn't this has only just come to me like today when they announced Van de Ven. Surely seeing so many players get injured and rush back and seeing players, I've said this saying for so many years now, overplayed and undervalued. There are so many injuries that are creeping in. Like Van de Ven's just come back. I was surprised he started. I personally would like to see him from the bench for a hamstring and then get the minutes in his game and then get his legs going and then go right off you go full time or 90 minutes, I say. Can these players dropping like flies and picking up these constant injuries, like what happened in Celtic, and the medical team have to take some of this as well for clearing them, allowing them to play. But you have to look at it and say, right now, do the players start thinking, my God, this guy's going to injure me? Or I'm playing, not he's going to personally, you know what I mean? With so many injuries and they keep reoccurring, the players train with them every single day, see him every day. Is that having an impact on them? Is that a way he could be losing them? I don't know.
I mean, what do you think about it? What's your name again? Instead of calling you Psycho Teacher every time. Marcus? What do you think on it? Do you think Ange's on his, how should I put it, on his deathbed, basically? Do you think his days are numbered, or do you think he can rescue this? Do you think he's lost the fan base?
Actually, I never say Ange out because it's so obvious he shouldn't be here. You know what he's been showing and doing, and his CV coming from Australia, Japan, and Scotland is not a CV that someone should have to be at Tottenham Hotspur, Premier League whatsoever. So since the beginning, it's quite strange, especially from the Chelsea game, the first Chelsea game, last year when we lost 4-1, right? When we had two players sent off, etc. The way he played, etc. And afterwards, after the game finished, he's saying that that's the way we are playing the high line, even though without two players sent off. That was crazy, man. So since then, I kind of this guy is weirdo, for the position to be a Tottenham manager, football manager. That's my opinion, of course.
I mean, no matter what, I do think his days are numbered because I just don't see how he can turn this around.
I keep saying Mason out because to me it's so obvious that this guy should be out already, And my concern is once he is out of the club, there will be Mason, coaching Tottenham.
I'm sorry, Psycho Teacher. Like I said on Mr. Box Office TV, it's not if he's going, it's when he's going.
It is looking that way.
And for me, at the moment, if we're a proper club, which I don't trust the club because I don't trust Johan Land, which is why I'm now repeating myself again. I want Prodigy back at my club, which is embarrassing, like I said before, because I was criticizing this guy for so many times.
He was the 5th and 7th choice, right?
Whose bright idea was that? What is it? Scott Munn, who we don't see, right? Johan Lang, who's just bang average as far as I'm concerned, because he got Timo Werner twice, So for me, at the moment, I'm sorry, I'd rather have Prodigy back at my club. That's embarrassing, right? I'm sorry. Can someone tell me, someone in the chat as well? Sorry, I'm not taking over your show, Dan, but I just want Mr. Box Office has got a question to the chat and everyone in the panel right now. Who's your choice for new manager right now? Because for me, I'm not even talking about Ange anymore. Because for me, it's not even if, it's when. I'm not going to repeat what I've said already, right? Who would be your man? I think we can get a better coach. I would have Eddie Howe at the moment. I would have Eddie Howe at the moment.
There's a few I would pick.
Ange's grandson, the guy who coaches Brighton, I can't remember his name.
Well, Marcus, you say the Brighton manager?
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe,
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no, but he's in a better option where he is at the moment. I mean, but this is where I say money talks. Money talks. And if you're willing to put the money down, which we know usually Spurs aren't when it comes to wages, but if you are, money can get you anything. Money can get you a very big surprise. Because for me, a lot of this football is not about love anymore. It's about mercenaries. Yeah. And it's about a job at the end of the day. The same passion isn't in it like back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even 10 years ago. It's not the same thing anymore. It's more of a job to people these days. They might still like their sport, but they don't love it. They don't love their team like an old Gerrard used to, or even a John Terry did. And we can go through lists of them. They're just two off the top of my head. Or like Gabriel Batistuta. I mean, how many places could that fella have gone? He could have gone universal. Man U tried getting him 4 times, if I remember right, 3 or 4. AC Milan wanted him. Juventus wanted him. Real Madrid wanted him.
Yeah.
They all wanted him. No, I'm staying with Fiorentina. And then once he'd had his best time at Fiorentina, he then went to Roma. But he gave him his Harry Kane. He's a freak of nature in that aspect for how long he stayed with us. I mean, would anyone really have blamed him if he'd have just said, you know what, fuck off. I ain't stepping foot in Tottenham again. Get me over to Man City. Otherwise, I just ain't playing. Would anybody really have blamed him for that? Now, we might not have liked him for doing it, but I really wouldn't have blamed him. Any of you three, would you have actually blamed him if he'd have done that?
No. I will very quickly just answer Alex's question. I want the man that I wanted before Ange Postecoglou was even named. In fact, I even spoke to Natalie Sawyer from Sky Sports when they played us for Harry Kane's last game as a Spurs player at home. I would go for the man, Thomas Frank. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's brilliant with the media. I think he's brilliant. He adapts. You look what he's been doing with Brentford. I think Thomas Frank is one of the most underestimated managers. They haven't lost a game at home. You look at the football they're playing. This is without Tony. They've lost Tony. They haven't lost at home, scoring 4s, 5s, early got. I honestly, but the thing is, as I've said to some of the chat, as much as I want Thomas Frank, I don't want Thomas Frank because the second he fucking signs that contract, before the ink is dried, he's fucked. But that is the man. I cannot just tell you how much I am so impressed with Thomas Frank. So impressed with him.
I like the Ipswich manager personally. He knows Spurs. He's young. He can adapt. That's the sort of manager I want. Someone who's young. Someone who looks like they can adapt to the league on a yearly, gamely basis like we need. That is why I just do not rate Ange and do not think that he's got it. Go on, you were saying, sorry?
That's the Brighton's manager about. He's quite young, you know. He's got nice ideas of football. He outclassed Ange on the second half of that game away, remember? Amazing.
That's why I want a younger manager, basically. Someone who I can feel can adapt more. Someone who I can feel can just adapt to the football more. Because that is what we need. I mean, with this team, we should be better. We have got a better than a 10. What are we now? 11th? 12th?
11th.
We have got 11th. We have got a better team than that. A better first 11 anyway. Our squad as a whole is pretty piss poor if you add it all up together. But we have got a better one than that. And I still do say, with a better manager who could adapt more to games, who was better at man management, who was better at game management, and who knew when to defend when we should, I think we'd be between 7 and 9 points better off than what we are.
Yeah, I mean, I just, again, I think we're in a state now. I've spoken about this before. We've tried going for the Postecoglou. We tried going for the Nagelsmanns and the Slots. Didn't want to come. One of them was because of the backroom staff. One of them obviously stayed and continued because he just won the league in Holland and now is obviously doing very well in Liverpool. I think after Jose and Conte, I see some people say Xavi, who is a wonderful football manager, plays wonderful football. I think he runs a mile. I think he literally runs a mile. From what I've heard, not that there's been contact with the club. Graham Potter has already said no to becoming like within media circles, whatever. This guy would rather stay unemployed than come and manage Spurs. What's that tell you? There's a guy that would rather stay unemployed. If I was a football manager and like me, Brian Dake and Daniel Levy came running for me and said, "Oh, Brian, I want you to net man," I'd run a mile. Even as my beloved, I would run a country mile. Why? I look at Thomas Frank. What? And you said McKenna, Dan, who's an ex-Spurs lad.
Mm-hmm. Because he knows the club, he knows how it works.
But what I'm saying to you is, listen, he's joined the club, he's joined Ipswich, brought them up 2 divisions. He is absolutely idolised up there for what he's done. He's still a very, very young manager. The Ipswich board love him. They'll do everything they can to support him. Obviously, his hopes right now is just to stay in the league. Even if they go down, I don't think Ipswich sack him. But they might have a bit of... Why are you going to leave a club? Yes, it's going to be bigger money. And yes, you've got the opportunity. But we have seen with every single type of manager that comes here, first of all, only Pochettino has seen out his contract and got a new one. We've constantly seen that managers aren't back with what they want and what they need. We're always buying young kids for the future, not for the now. And I'm being realistic here. Forget where I stand on board or ownership. I cannot see. You know how people have WhatsApp groups and talk. These players, the England players, the Tottenham players, football, they all have their WhatsApp groups or whatever. All these managers talk. I think this will be, if we sack him and we go for another manager, if or when, should we say, whatever, or if he resigns, it's not just we sack him, he could resign. This will be like our 15th permanent manager, 15th, and not one of them. No, 15th permanent.
Oh,
permanent.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you're probably counting Mason twice.
Yeah.
So,
not bad.
So I fell for that one before. That's why I know it's like a quiz question, isn't it? But it's like you look at it. These managers must say if 15 managers have had the same results, kind of thing, with ownership and directors of football coming and going. One minute we're playing this style of football and going this way. The next minute we're going this way. We've got a different director of football where we can look at European talent or young talent. There's no... When Liverpool changed managers, what I remember all my life, apart from Hodgson, Benitez and Houllier, Liverpool have always played attacking football and had attacking managers. It's like we attack. Or we play that style of football. They stick.
But they also knew how to defend.
Yes, but what I'm saying to you, when they hire a manager, they play the same way. We go attacking, defensive, counter-attacking, pragmatic. Let's go back to attacking. No, attacking don't work. Let's go defensive. Defensive. No, now let's go project building. There's nowhere to go.
So if we're going for attacking then, and that is what we want, and that is what everyone wants. I mean, my prime football that I enjoy most is counter-attacking, basically. I do love it when a team takes up the pressure, can handle the pressure, and then all of a sudden go bang, bang, bang with 3 direct balls and put it in the back of the net. That is why I love Italian football so much. They say it's so slow, but if you actually watch it, it can be slow, and then it all of a sudden speeds up. I just personally like that style of football. But I know other people prefer gung-ho football, other people prefer it up the wings, other people prefer... Each to their own at the end of the day. That's why we all see football out of 2 different eyes. I will see things in a game that you 3 won't, and then you 3 will see 4 or 5 things in a game that I won't. Because we're all looking for different parts of a game. And then there'll just be that thing that happens in a match that everyone sees except the fucking referee, which happens to me as well. But, I mean, what I want to say, I'm going to go for another 10 minutes because it's 10:30 now. With a question here. Would you trust Ange to spend any more money in this transfer window coming up? I mean, that's one point I did want to actually get to. Is anything going to be done in January?
I don't think so. I mean,
would you trust him with any more money?
Nope.
Any of you 3?
Nope. Because he got in Johnson, he got in Timo Werner, he got in who else did he get in? I don't.
Virgil, Gray.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't trust him. I wouldn't even give it to. I wouldn't even give it to Johan Lang. I wouldn't even give it to Johan Lang. But unfortunately, we're stuck with
To
him.
me, he's the bigger problem with transfers, Alex.
Oh gosh, yeah.
To me, Lange is the bigger problem.
But
Who
like I
was the
said,
one
I have to
that
say,
Man
like I
U
said,
just
I want
got rid
Prodigy
of?
back.
Sorry,
Who was the one? Who was the one that
I
Man
want
U just
Prodigy
got rid
back.
of?
Dan Ashworth.
Wouldn't he be worth bringing in?
He's
There's
not.
actually
He's
meant to
not.
be
He's
pretty
not.
good.
He's not someone that looks for players though. From what I've
The
heard.
way I see with this transfer window is, look, like you just said, he brought in Johnson. He wanted Gray. He wanted Bergvall, and the club went and got him. Big up, Daniel. Hope you're good, buddy. What I will say is, if everyone believes that, with Ange saying that I win football in my second season, he said, "Go get me Bergvall, Gray, and Werner again, and I'll be happy. That's me winning." No. There were more people on that list that the club couldn't get or wouldn't entertain or for whatever reason couldn't get. He did not want just those. Has his talent ID been bad? He wanted Van der Ven, which I still think, apart from his hamstrings, obviously. Don't get me wrong, he's had a lot more misses than hits. But if Spurs are to back him, if Spurs are going to say they're his that he is the man and they want him, Odegaard as well. Sorry, Odegaard as well. Thanks, Savva. I don't deny that he wanted Solanke or Odegaard. That part I'm not denying, Savva. I'm saying I guarantee you there's more people on that list that he would have wanted that the club didn't bring in. But they opted to go for the younger talent and bring the younger talent in because it's what we do. Not saying that he's like I said, he has got those have not proved to be well. I'm a fan of Solanke. I am. He needs to do better, but I think we've got a good deal in Solanke, and it will prove out to be a hit more. Right, I'm not saying right now. I'm saying in the long run. That's the way I see. Like you said, Dan, we see things. People see football differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the long run, when it comes to the end of his contract, or when he leaves, he would have done more than. Yeah, for instance, Savage just said he wanted Gallagher. Did the club even entertain that idea? Did the club have any chance of getting him?
From what we heard, Ange wanted him. Ange wanted him.
He was Ange's number one pick. He was Ange's number one pick.
Why we didn't? I mean, I understand it's Chelsea, but I think if he's your main midfielder, you just go out there and get him, wouldn't you?
Well,
I mean, I've just done a poll on here.
What you got to remember as well is
here quick. Would you let Ange spend the money or not? So I've just put the poll on. See how that goes. Go on, Brian,
like I said, Gallagher. First of all, Chelsea and Spurs won't do business. This whole story, it was a non-starter anyway. Especially after Luka Modric and Levy saying, "You're getting him over my dead body." There's such a rivalry there. It was never going to happen. But the media and everything whips it up. It was never going to happen. We weren't even going to pay the money. He didn't even want to come. What I would say, the question was, should Ange get? If Ange gets money, and it's the club backing him, if the club, which we can do nothing about, if the club say, "I want him, he's our man, we're doing it," then we have to go and get out the experience. And I hope Ange, I don't know what his January transfer plans are. I don't know if he has seen experience. Experience has to come. I don't care if they're 27. I don't care if they're 30. And then we judge from there. But
we definitely need some older players in there.
We
definitely need a leader. But Ange said he don't want leaders.
Right.
He wants to make leaders. So again, how can we have the faith in that? When he goes and makes stupid comments like that. I mean, that was one that pissed me right off. I'm like, mate, why even say
players
that?
want to play in this system. You know, that's my opinion. You know, ready-made players who want to follow what Ange asks them to do. You know, you can see Romero and the Madison, already upset. I think, seems at least already upset with it. So if you have ready-made players, top players, they won't follow, and then Ange knows top players will not follow what he says, what he asks them to do it. In the system.
I will say when it comes to, sorry, Marcus, you finish.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I was about to say when it comes to Ange and him after matches, all parents will understand what I'm about to say. I see it with my nephews and my niece. When they've been naughty, they get put on timeout or go told to stand in the corner for 5-10 minutes until they're. I honestly wish Tottenham Hotspur said to Ange, "Right, you're on timeout. Go stand in the corner for 10 minutes before he does an interview, So you can compose, because some of the things he does say drives me round the corner, and I back him. But it's like, why did you say that? Why did you say that? I mean, I remember at the start of the season when we were, before the window even closed, he said we're physically and mentally stronger and prepared and ready for the season ahead. I don't understand why he said that. There was no need to say it, and it's clearly backfired.
Again, he does himself no favours, does he? With the stuff he says. I mean, people say that he says what he's told to say, basically like he's Levy's little bitch. But for me, maybe 50% of what he said, but I think 50% of what he has said, there was just no need to say it.
Yeah, that I agree completely. That I completely agree with.
He has done himself absolutely no favours whatsoever, has he? So how can we take him serious? I mean, this poll at the moment is very 50-50 at the moment of whether we should let him spend the money or not. So it's where do we go in January if he's even here in January? Because the thing I see happening is the fact of Levy holds him until February, doesn't spend no money, and then turns around and says, well, I couldn't back him with the money because I wasn't sure of it. I gave him another chance like a lot of people wanted, but he's doing shit, so I had to get rid of him. And that saves Levy spending money on players, but then gets to spend it on like getting his new manager in, sort of thing, but not having to spend anything on players. Could any of you see it going that way?
Put it this way, Dad. If there is a single doubt in the Spurs hierarchy's mind, and I'm not just talking Levy, I'm talking Mackenzie, Lange, Munn. If Lange, Munn, Lange, Munn, Levy, Cullen, and all those people at the top are having discussions about whether to keep him on or not, then if there is just a slightest murmur of that, you don't give him a single penny. Unless you say, right, we're going to stand by him. That's it. We're going to back him to the hilts. And they need to back him to the hilts. But if there is a single doubt that they're now thinking, right, do we start looking and drawing up a search for a new manager? Do we start thinking of alternative? Then you can't give him a penny. You simply can't.
No. With that, it's a proper catch-22 situation. With the players he has bought and everything, you really don't want to... I don't trust him with the money. I can't say I would. I can't trust him with the sort of play he was got, because he doesn't look like he's adapted, and he doesn't look like... I'm stuck with this one. I am. I'd want to see... Obviously, I want to see players come in, but if people have got to pick the players, we haven't been very good at it, have we? Ever, really?
I think it's an easy answer, Dan. I think it's an easy answer. The only thing nervous for me at the moment is that if we did get rid of the manager, I'm nervous who's picking the manager, because I don't think they're going to get it right. I just think they're going to mess it up again. That's what worries me, because I think there's quite a simple answer. Big up Savva, by the way. Big up Savva.
You're right, Savva.
Every day. But yeah, just that's where I'm nervous at the moment, because there are managers out there that will suit this club. Right? I think we should be getting coaches, like I said. I think we should be getting
that is a priority for me. I agree.
A head coach, because like I said, Ange is not a coach. It's just funny how Romero says he's a very good coach.
Even forgetting the manager coach side of Ange, at least get some other coaches in who can do the job that he can't.
And the manager has to let them do their job as well, because I don't think Ange lets them. I think he said, "This is what I want from you, and that's it. Please just do that." That's what I think he's doing, because he's telling Nick Montgomery, who's a player development guy, to do the set pieces. It's ridiculous when he's a player development guy.
Very true. Savva, how we doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. You well?
Been a long night. Let's put it that way. Spurs supporter, as usual, talking about Spurs. By the end of the night, you are usually knackered.
Yeah, I laid down on the sofa And I thought, I'm not going to watch any content. I was like, Dan's live. Oh, go on then. I'll go on. I'll nibble.
I've done that.
Can I just say one of the things that makes me laugh, right? I do think I feel like Tottenham fans, I feel like we're very black or white in our thinking. Like, I don't feel like there's any room for any shades of grey in here at all. It's almost like what top manager comes to Spurs? What top player comes to Spurs? Hang on. Why does it have to be a top manager? Why does it have to be a top player? Look at what some of the other clubs do with their scouting network, right? Let's have a look at a team right now. Like, look at Brentford. And by the way, I agree with what Brian Daigle said. I think for me, that's the sort of bloke I look at, Thomas Frank, and think, I'd love you to be our manager. I'd identify with you. I'd feel like you wouldn't embarrass us in press conferences. I feel like you wouldn't say any silly things. You wouldn't create silly memes. What I love about that is you look at that man since he's come into the Premier League, right? Every Spurs fan that goes, oh, but we've lost Harry Kane. How many players do you think Brentford have lost since they came into the Premier League? They're still in there.
Brighton.
Yeah, but on the Thomas Frank theme, right? I was going to get to the Brighton manager, right? On the Thomas Frank theme, they've lost Ollie Watkins. Like, they've lost Ivan Toney. These clubs find the next one. They find the next one, right? Their two top goal scorers, right? Their two top goal scorers have 9 league goals each. Vissa and Mbeumo, right? We're paying 60 million for Dominic Solanke. They paid, I think it works out to about 16 million pounds for both Vissa and Mbeumo. Right, so it doesn't always have to be what top player will come. It's what player suits a manager's system, what player's going to give his all, what player's fit, what player can. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of these different aspects that come into it. But what we do is we seem to think that it's got to be a 60 million pound player. It's got to be it's crap scouting all round from the club. And this is the thing for me. When you look at Fulham, what a really well-organised team Fulham are. And yes, we'll probably finish above them at the end of the year. But you look at Fulham, where they've gone and got their players. They've gone and got players like Smith Rowe and Iwobi, who weren't wanted by bigger clubs. But look at the job they do at Fulham. Look at Sander Berg and Luka Sasic or Sasa Lukic in midfield. They do such a good job every game. They give their all, 100%. You know what you're going to get, right? Look how much Robinson would have cost at left back, and how much Kenny Tete would have cost at left back. But these managers buy these players, bargains, they scout them well that fit their system, and they build a team. And like my man, Mr. Box Office, always says, they coach them. They coach the players better. They coach them into a system. What we've got is a manager that, first and foremost, his system is fundamentally, I don't know how my level of language can be here. I'll be polite.
You see it, mate.
It is absolutely effing wank. If we're going to be brutally honest, Dan, his tactics are non-existent.
They're not good.
The excuse that, well, it doesn't matter who we bring in because it's under Levy. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. Does it matter who we bring in under Levy to win a league title? No, because we're not going to. Does it matter who we bring in under Levy to get more out of this group of players that we've got? Yes, absolutely. Because like you said, Dan, this squad right now should have 7 to 9 points more than it does. This squad should not be losing 19 in 40 Premier League games.
Nope.
Right? So for me, with a bit of coaching and a bit of good scouting, it's amazing what you can do. Now, just to finish off my rant, I'm not saying with a little bit of scouting, a bit of good coaching that you win titles. To win titles, you need the best players. You need the better players. But there's no way, we said this before, Dan, there's no way this squad should be where it is in the league. No. There's no way this squad should have lost more games than everyone other than the bottom 3 in the Premier League. There's
more
no
that it's won.
There's no way at all. So for me, I think you get in a leader of men. You get in somebody that's media friendly, right? Not like everything this guy says is now being made into a meme from Paddy Power, from TalkSport, from Sky Sport. Everyone's making memes about what Ange says, what he does, how he conducts himself. Can we not just get a media-friendly manager that is professional in his press conferences, that talks to the press with a bit of respect? And the very last thing I'll say before someone else comes in, did you see that video that's going round about Thomas Frank in the changing room after the Brentford? Right? That's a manager. That is a manager right there. Like acknowledging, listen, we've got a big squad. I want you guys to play more, but you know this is a tough game, right? You know that you're ready to come on when I need you to. And I was inspired. I was like, yes, Gaffer. Like, that's a leader. We've got a guy, Dan, that's telling these players and the media, just go and do what I'm asking you to. Don't worry about the consequences. And then when we concede 4 goals at home to Chelsea for the second year in a row, he's saying things like, why would we change our style of play? I don't know, Ange. Maybe because we've lost 7 of 15. Maybe because you're doing a shit job. It just, I don't know, man. I just feel like a little bit of coaching. When Harry came into Spurs, I'm seeing people in the chat say football's moved on since Harry. How? Harry Redknapp played a 4-2-3-1. What's moved on? What's moved on? That's what Fulham are playing, right?
If anything, it's got more tippy-tappy, and that's about all you can say to it in general. Right. Apart from that, I wouldn't say it's changed that much. I personally think he'd come in and do an all right job.
Mate, I'd take him till the end of the year. I would. Look, we can have the Levy chat all the time, but I am getting, I'll be honest, and Brian won't like me saying this, I am getting a little bit bored that, you know, I feel like the manager's getting off scot-free for how bad he is, purely because we don't like the owners. But this squad, Daniel Levy doesn't make him play Van der Ven and Romero when they're both half injured.
I didn't say I agree with that.
Oh no, I'm not saying you did, Brian, but you know, you've got Radu Dragusin 100% fully fit, and the manager plays 2 50% fit footballers, and you're thinking, mate, you know, Daniel Levy doesn't make him not pick Jed Spence ever. Daniel Levy didn't make him drop Jed Spence from the Europa League squad. Why hasn't he given Archie Gray a game in midfield? Why has he not given Reggie a game at left back to give Adogi to? He's chosen not. When I keep hearing our squad's thin, maybe if you played some of them, they'd get a bit better. Maybe if you gave them some game time, but he wants the same 11 players every game. That's not football. You can't have 11 players. You've got to play these players. Sorry.
The way you're right on what you've said. I can't debate or argue none of it, even though I'd love to, but I can't. It's true. It is true. And the way I remember and would love to see a team with the manager, I know it don't go like this with everything, but this is the ideal way. And the example I will give is the Champions League final between Man U and Bayern Munich. It just was not going their way. Not long left to go. Claps his hands, right. Sheringham, Solskjaer, on the pitch. Do what you got to do. They weren't bothered that they didn't play most of the game. They came in and did what they had to do and win it for them, wasn't it?
Dan, can I just say, sorry, this guy in your chat, Enoch Out, listen, I'm not going to. It's your show. But if he keeps being a dick, I will block him. This whole Savva loves shifting the blame away from Levy and onto the manager. What I love about human beings like that is they have no idea how to decompartmentalize conversations. Yeah, I cannot like Daniel Levy in the grand scheme of things. That doesn't mean that I have to blame Daniel Levy for Ange Postecoglou's shit management. Right?
It is shit management, and
it's shit management. I don't.
Daniel
think
Levy does not pick who is on the pitch.
I don't think we've got a great squad, right? But can that person and the other people in the chat tell me genuinely, right? Can he tell me genuinely that we should be below Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton. I'm sorry, there's a huge difference between, Daniel Levy sucked the life out of the club in certain aspects, and Daniel Levy is the reason why Ange Postecoglou's lost 7 games. We've lost to Ipswich, right? We've lost to Ipswich. We've lost to Bournemouth. We failed to beat Brighton. We failed to beat Leicester. We drew with Fulham. How can you put that on? I can't put that on Daniel Levy. We had better 11s out than all of those clubs, and he didn't win any of them. So
with what
you've
he's
got to
done the
blame
other
Levy
day,
for certain stuff, Dan, but I can't blame him for everything. Otherwise,
no.
If we do that, that is disingenuous.
Correct.
The bit I definitely agree with, and I'm sure you will as well, Brian, is the fact that he brought on fucking Van der Ven and Romero to start the game was just the only word I can think. It was stupid. That's the main word.
As soon as I saw, because obviously you got to remember, we saw the lineup to start off with, and Van der Ven weren't even in it. Then it got updated, and he was put in it. I would say with any single player, no matter what position you are, and especially if you have suffered with hamstrings in the past, you can't just start them in a 90-minute match and say, right, off you go.
No.
You have to gradually... If he'd been on the sub bench and then Spurs had seen him warming up in the second half, regardless, we wouldn't know the score, whatever, that place would have gone absolutely nuts. It would have gone nuts. Yes, Mickey's warming up. Oh, my God. Yeah. And then you bring his leg. I look at it. Do you bring Mickey in for this one game and risk what happened and it happening? Or do you bring him in gradually so you have him over Christmas? And I will choose the latter one every single time. Especially when
You've got to look ahead, haven't you?
Especially when our defence and the way he plays football relies on that man. The way he wants to play football relies on that man being on the pitch.
Very much so.
And this is the thing. I don't agree with what he did there. I will say about Spence. Now, I'm up in the air with Spence because people keep wanting to say, why is he not playing? And don't get me wrong. I think at times he should have given Porro, like Savva said, squad rotate. It's a squad game now. You rotate, you play. Forget the Europa League. Forget the Europa League thing. The Europa League is done. We know it can't be changed to whatever. But not one single manager has played him or given him minutes. Not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of them have believed in him. Not to say, I'm not saying that's, but no one has trusted him. And now they're like, chuck him in. But this guy who has hardly played any minutes at all, first team, and especially starting them, has somehow got a new contract. He got given a new contract this season for scoring a goal against Coventry. That is all he's done. He played in pre-season. No manager has trusted him, whether that means don't give him a goal or not. But Ange is taking a lot of heat for not trusting him. Conte didn't want him and shipped him out. Ange Postecoglou last season didn't trust him, shipped him out. And I know in January there was a huge bust-up with the two of them, like a massive one. He's come back. He started off pre-season, and it looked like he'd actually... This attitude that we all thought he had, it looked like he didn't have it, and he looked very good going forward. Out of position defensively, but that's been Porro as well. But we don't trust... Managers don't trust him, but I do agree that we need to rotate, and you can't keep playing Porro there. But we should have brought another right back in, or there's so much... As Savva knows, and as you know, you've been on so many streams with Ian, who waxes lyrical about Archie Gray. It's become a whole thing when I see it, where he goes, I've seen Savva and Ian go at it. And Savva and Ian are great friends, but they go at it, they've got it at Archie Gray. I want to see Archie Gray in midfield. We bought the guy in midfield. I was like, wait a minute. After the Bournemouth game, I was like, that was the perfect game to bring Spence in. I thought he would have done, but you don't trust him. So we played Gray at right back, who was meant to be a midfielder. We were told we're not
going to be centre back for the next 4 games.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. We were told we were going to play. We weren't buying midfielders because Bergvall and Gray, we've been amazed at their progress. So there's no need to dip into the market. And against Bournemouth, we so badly needed to give Son a rest. We put Johnson on the left where he's woeful and doesn't contribute goals, let alone everything else. he does not do anything on the left. On the right, he gets goals. On the left, he
was
does nothing.
shocking on the left.
Mate,
He was a ghost. You might as well have had 10 men on the pitch.
People will know how I've tried to defend Johnson, and I'm happy with it. And I've said there's a player that he scores, and Savva even said he is scoring goals. He needs to improve everywhere else.
The rest of it is shit, but he is tapping it in. So
this is how bad this squad is at the moment. Whether you want to blame this on Ange and injuries or investment and players not coming in or whatever, as I was saying, we put our right back, our centre midfield, who was bought as a centre midfield to play right back. The two midfielders being Gray and Bergvall, that we're told we're not getting midfielders because they've amazed us with their progress. They haven't started a Premiership minute in midfield. To get sun arrest, we moved the right winger, who's our top scorer on the right, to the left wing so we can play Kulusevski on the right, even though Kulusevski all season has been brilliant in the centre. And now the greatest thing, I don't know if I said this to Savva, is and please God, don't this happen, if Dragusin picks up an injury, our defence will be Archie Gray, Porro at right back because he's the only one. We'll then put Archie Gray in defence, who's meant to be a midfielder, but he's been playing right back and he'll be a defender. Probably paired with Destiny Udogie because he'll have to come in as a bit of weight and central. And then what will happen is our left back is the right back that can't be played at right back even when we don't trust the right back. We put our centre midfielder at right back. He will be the left back even though he's a right back. That's our defence. Should Dragusin get injured?
Can I ask why most clubs in this scenario, though, Brian, this is where I've got no time for Ange. Most clubs in this scenario, they wouldn't be putting Archie Gray at centre half. You'd promote Dorrington. Most clubs would go, right, we've got no players fit. Right, who's the next best in that age group? We saw Man United had to do it last year. We saw tonight, Arsenal played an 18-year-old left-back in a Champions League game. Arsenal played Lewis Skelly, the young left-back, tonight against Monaco in the Champions League. I bet we don't give Dorrington a game.
I think he's injured at the moment.
Chuck him in. See what he's got.
I was going to say that. Is he injured? I don't know.
I think he's injured at the moment. But we had loads of opportunity to do it last season. We didn't do it because
we basically had one defender. One defender is what we've got at the moment. So surely, instead of putting Archie Gray there, go and put an actual defender there. Wouldn't that just make more sense?
Dan, Ange knew going into Chelsea. Ange knew we had 4 games coming up in I think it's 10 days. If I'm not wrong, it's 4 games in 10 days, 4 games in 11 days, right? Why chuck in 2 players that have not... I don't know how long Van der Ven hadn't played for, maybe 4 weeks. How long Romero hadn't played for, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. He chucks them both in. Now, people are going, different injury for Romero. But the thing is, injuries come through not being fit, not running properly, not stretching properly, right? He plays both of them. Surely you hold one back and say, you know what, I'm going to give you another 3-4 days of training. Surely. Like that, I don't need to be a manager to say that, guys. That's just common sense, isn't it? You hold, or you say, you know what? Whatever happens, Radu Dragusin, you are playing 90 minutes today against Chelsea. Right, Mickey Van der Ven, you go on and do the first 45. Romero, you're doing the second 45. You get them both some listen, now they might have got injured, but surely now you're limiting the chance of the injury. But no, this manager starts both of them at the same time. And all the talk in all the channels, Dan, before the game was, this is a huge risk. And 90 minutes later, we're all going, well, that backfired. And that's just poor management. That's terrible squad management when you know Ben Davies is injured. You know Jed Spence can't play against Rangers because he's not in the squad. Like, just use a bit of, play Spence against Chelsea at right back. Save Porro and Van der Ven for Rain. I don't know, like just a bit of game management is needed, and we never get it from him. We never get it.
Well, only time will tell. The question I've asked everyone else, so I'll ask you quickly, is what the hell do we do tomorrow with Rangers? What do you think is going to happen with it? Because I haven't heard your side of this yet.
I don't even think it's a big conversation. What can he do? Like right now, he's let it get to this situation. His fault Jed Spence isn't there. For me, it's his fault that both our centre-backs are injured. Not saying one of them wouldn't be, but both of them. You know, you've got... So what? It's going to have to be what? Porro, Spence... Sorry, Porro, Gray, Dragoshin and Adogi. And then... I mean, you've got to go fairly strong because this is... Just quickly, Dan, just on a bit of a tangent.
Say as you wish.
You know... Remember when we played Galatasaray and all those fans saying it's a free hit. It's a free hit. Don't worry about this. It's a free hit. Well, we lost that.
Agree with that.
We drew with Roma. Now, all of a sudden, that free hit, imagine we lose tomorrow against Rangers. Now, all of a sudden, you've put a lot of pressure on yourself in the last two group games.
This is what I said earlier. Yeah.
Right? So, again, poor management. Play a first team against Galatasaray, get the 3 points. Now, all of a sudden, you're nearly qualified. But again, for me, I just think he's got terrible management. Look, midfield, Bentancur's going to play, right?
I would have thought so, and Basuma.
I think Basuma will, and I think Bergvall or Madison, and then the front three will be what? Solanke, Johnson, and Werner.
I think that.
I think Kulusevski goes wide tomorrow. I think Bentancur, Madison, and Bergvall, and he'll start Kulusevski on the right tomorrow and play Solanke and Werner.
I don't even know if I want Kulusevski starting because I think he needs a bit of time out as well.
Can I ask, why do our players need time? We are 15 games into a Premier League season. We're all talking as though these players have played 50 games this year.
I think we're worried because of the way that they're playing. I think there's the way that the energy that we use. I think that's why we're worried at the moment. I think
so whose fault is that, Alex?
That's what I was going to say.
Listen, I know whose fault it is. I'm just saying.
We cover more ground than any other team in the Premiership.
But I know the answer why.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say it again because I've said it how many times with him. But
they're burnt out. They are burnt out. So with that game tomorrow, then. If we don't win that, that's more pressure on Ange's back. That's more pressure on everyone's back. And for me, that makes the Europa League quite... There's still games we should easily walk through on there.
Dan, I've got to say this, not to interrupt you, bro, but he needs to get some momentum going because this ain't getting any easier, this fixture list. Like I said, we're not just talking about December.
You're right.
We are talking about January as well. That January, like I said, we've got a couple of games in January in Europe. This is not. This is ruthless.
It's not usually like that, is it?
This is ruthless now.
I mean,
this is. You know what I mean?
This is why I said to people that I didn't agree with Galatasaray was a free hit. I thought that was one we should have definitely done better on, especially having two strikers coming at you and you're only having two at the back. I thought that was criminal on its own. And then with the game against Roma, when that could have gone score anywhere, but at the end we should have shut up shop for the last 10 minutes because we could have, and we could have got a win out of that, and then we wouldn't be so necessarily desperate in this situation. But one way or another, we've got to win that Rangers game, and I think they're going to come at him with everything, with high blood and water, because he was Celtic manager. They're going to take it personally. They're going to want to go for it.
They know how crap we are away, Dan. They know how bad we are away from home.
But his tactics destroyed that league. This team, even weakened up, is better than Rangers. We should be doing that. But then there's and then there's Tottenham. Is the way I see it. There's should and then there's Tottenham. Right, I'm going to have to end that now because I'm starting to get evil looks through the door and that. So, Savva, you're going on holiday, mate. Enjoy your holiday, and when do we catch back?
Thank you. Can I just ask one favour to Daniel Levy? Please don't sack him while I'm on holiday. Can you wait till I'm back? I wanna be streaming when you sack him. Can I ask you guys a quick question before we go? I fly back on the 22nd, right? And I'll be doing a live watch along Liverpool Spurs. Will he still be the manager in 11 days' time when I arrive back. By
Yes.
that time, we would have played Rangers in the Cup, Rangers in Europe, Southampton in the league, and Man United in the League Cup with Gray and Dragosine at centre-half. Will he still be our manager by the time I get back?
Yes.
That'd be an interesting thing.
I think
And
so.
just
Ruining my
to
holiday.
say here, on the poll here, that's been going on for 33 minutes. There's been 124 votes, so that's more than half of the chat that have voted there. And the let Ange spend in January is 57% no and 43% yes. To me, that is still quite leveled out. That's not totally a big no as such.
I
There's
wouldn't
still
give
some
him a
faith in that
tenner.
chat. No, nor would I.
Give him
But-
a tenner.
But that's not an out no as such. Yes, the majority has said no, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting. I was more of expecting a 70-30, if I'm going to be honest, to the no. So I must admit that has surprised me a bit. So there's obviously some people that have still got a bit of faith or a bit of hope there. Each their own at the end of the day. And Marcus, what I'll sort out is a show for me and you to do together so you can actually get on and talk enough and that, because when you've got 7, 8, 9 people on there, it can be how should I put it? It's not easy.
So honored to be among us, the monsters of Spurs YouTube, I feel such a tiny little ant among us to you. Such a pleasure and honor. I'm here to learn with you, a lot. And as I said in the beginning, gentlemen, as a foreign fan, Spurs fan, I feel quite powerless, impotent, and I wanted to do something. As I gave a small idea in the beginning, a kind of brainstorming in the beginning, but if you can come up with any ideas that we who live abroad, can help out in a way or another, please, it's welcome, because I feel anxious what to do something, you know what I mean? Yes, I've got half Japanese blood, but I've got half Latin American blood, I feel like, fuck, oh my God, doing something, and I can't, and I'm just coming to London next year, for a month, and I know if that within that month I will be able to do anything. So please, if you can give me any ideas actually to us, all fans of Spurs all over the world is quite welcome, because this feeling of, I want to do something is almost like exploding, you know what I mean? Thanks a lot for having me.
No problem, but I will set up a show, and I'm going to start slowly but surely doing more shows as I finally got myself to 3,800 now, and going to start pushing it to try and get to 4K and then take it from there. I know I'm very irregular with my shows.
I've got a big head, by the way. I don't know why I was doing that. There you go, giving it large, Sav.
No, I was picking up Dan, but I don't like what Dan just said. I don't like it. You said we'll get to 4K. I think you should be saying 5. So we'll get to 5 and take it from there, Dan. Listen,
Well, I ain't going to be saying that when I've only got about 14 days to do it.
No, mate. Listen. You're a great creator. You'll get there. You'll get the numbers.
I just don't do as many shows as others and that, and I'm a bit irregular with what I do. And some of that comes down to health. I just can't do this as much as other people because otherwise it actually does me physical damage. Right, Brian, where do we catch up with you, mate?
Well, Tottenham on tour are coming back. They'll be back before the year end.
At last.
We are back. So you'll be seeing us very, very soon. Hopefully, I'll be doing something in the next week in the build-up to hopefully a massive protest. And the build-up for pressure on Levy. I need to come back for it. I need to contribute in any way I can to Tottenham on tour are coming back. Thanks for having me on, Dan. Savva, have a wicked holiday.
Always a pleasure.
Marcus, a pleasure. Alex, my brother. All I will say, look, when it comes to the Rangers tomorrow, if Rangers come out and try and play football, we win. If Rangers want to fight, we lose.
I agree.
That's it. If they want to play open football, we'll get the job done. But if they're like, this is England, Scotland, Rangers, Celtic with the Ange rivalry, and they're like, right, we're just going to treat this like an old firm. We are going to, our team will get battered. And I don't mean battered score-wise, I mean physically. They won't be up for the fight and the atmosphere. So Spurs, if Rangers come to play football, we win. If Rangers come for a fight, we lose. That's important.
Well, if it comes to a physical side of it, it could very much be an old school Bolton Arsenal sort of game. You know, like Stoke and Arsenal used to be.
We'll go crying. We'll be like they stole my dinner money, and
like Bolton and Stoke used to do to Arsenal. On the physical side, they always used to come out of there losing about 2 or 3 players whenever Arsenal played Bolton, wouldn't it? They used to get hacked as shit. And Alex, where do we catch up with you, mate?
I was going to do something earlier, but no, I think maybe leave it. I'll give my reaction to the Rangers game if I really am bothered about it, to be honest with you. But like I said, I'm switching things up on Mr. Box Office TV because, like I said, I'm saying a lot of the same things that I've been saying for the last how many years on YouTube, and it's now getting to the point where it's getting very boring because Tottenham are very, very boring now these days. Doing the same things that they've done before. It's like the same things I'm trying to get a wife, but it doesn't really work when you do the same things, innit? You have to think about different things, don't you? But anyway, moving on.
Tactics,
about
Alex,
my love life.
It's all about tactics.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you need a new manager. Maybe you need a new manager. Change your tactics.
But
get better coaching staff. We're all sitting here, mate.
Alex, just think, right? If you had a wife, right? Just think if Dan didn't have a wife right now, we'd be able to do a 24-hour stream. But he's got a wife.
Yeah. For yourself, mate. I can't handle no 24-hour stream.
Big up
the way you do them, I'll give you that one, mate. Fair play to you, because I couldn't do that. I have not got the energy or the capability to pull off a fucking 24-hour stream. I'd probably have to drink so many fucking Red Bulls. I'll be buzzing by the end of it, twitching sort of thing.
All you do is you get Strasbourg Steve on. And you just you get him go.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, right. Thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks for all the panel for coming on. Savva, have a good holiday. I mean, do I even need to say this? If you haven't signed up to him, sign up to him. I'm sure most of you have. Same as with Brian. Sign up to Tottenham on Tour. They're going to be back on soon. Sign up with Alex. Sign up with Tottenham Away with Stel. Thanks for coming on, Mike, Eugene, everyone. And has anyone else got one last thing they want to say?
I do.
Go on then.
And as always, Levy out.
Levy
See you later, everyone.
Levy in.
Savva, I'll come. You're on my side of the pond this week. I'll find you. Levy out.
So,
everyone goes down. Brian's made it happen.
Don't even start talking about that shit. Yeah, I mean, no, don't even go there. I mean, we are Tottenham supporters after all. So give us a quick like and subscribe. Be much appreciated with people. And Brian, I will let you finish that again.
Yeah, but make sure you cut it off before Savva says something. And as always, Levy out.
I'm gonna turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.